Titans Talkback. Brent Dougherty with you. The doctor, Kevin Dyson, is here. And, Dice, I do the home games with you.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
They're 3-1, the games I've done.
What you trying to say?
Lucas, stay home Thursday night. What a win, 28-23. That is the first time the Titans have scored more than 27 points in 28 games, and they do it with a rookie quarterback making his first start, taking his first snap. What a performance by Will Levis today.
Yeah, let me first start off by giving the organization their flowers, man. Just want to tell Amy Armstrong and the organization, thank you for hosting all us old heads, man. Had a lot of guys come back, got to see a lot of familiar faces. A lot of guys that I've got the opportunity to watch play growing up. A lot of guys I got the opportunity to watch play after I was done playing. So, man, it was a fantastic weekend, man, just to kind of get to see that. But what a performance today, man.
What's your take on that? You played a lot of NFL football at the wide receiver position. And to see a guy, like, look, there are things that we do as people in life that make us nervous.
Yeah.
Can anything compare to that? Hey, man, let me go let you start your first NFL game. You've never taken a snap before. Here you go.
There you go. You know, it speaks volumes to him, and then we'll get into it later. I'm sure callers start lining up, but it speaks volume to him as a potential professional, his preparation. You know, going to practice this week and watching him take the bulk of the snaps, the lion's share of the snaps, he was seen to be command and confident, and it just translated to the field. So I think Vrabel said it. It seemed like they executed and carried out the game plan that was set for them, and that speaks a lot of volumes just in those words, that you know that they didn't get off schedule, they didn't get off script, and they was able to go out there and convert third downs when they needed, got in the red zone, made some touchdowns, had some big plays. They were strategic with their splash plays or their double moves, as we saw with the touchdown. It just speaks volume to the preparation. Now, having an extra week probably helped, but kudos, man. And again, Will Levis is going to get a lot of attention. It's going to be a lot of conversation over the next 3-4 days as you go into this Pittsburgh game.
This is another challenge for him, right?
It's going to be another challenge.
To be able to move on from this and not even think about it, really.
And people are going to talk about how wonderful you are and things like that. But
it'll be all week.
I know the defense.
Luckily, it's a short week.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He can't have time to think about it. But the defense played well today. I know he gave up 23 points, and he came in and had some things going on. But ultimately, you think about how that defense kept him on shorter fields and was able to navigate that. That right there was a collective team effort. We saw special teams get involved with the fake punt. We had a big return.
Yeah.
It was a good team effort for tonight's game or this afternoon's game, man. It was a fun football game to watch. It was exciting. It felt like times of old in that stadium today.
3-0 in Nissan Stadium this season.
Just stay at home.
And how big was that win? Seriously, to get to 3-4.
Yeah.
Instead of the alternative 2-5.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a dramatic difference.
Well, look what's
keeps your season alive.
And what's the elephant in the room, especially after Byard was traded, and then the attention turned to who's next.
Yep.
And the potential of that happening. And I know the organization came out and said, no, we've had some offers, we're not trading them. But you got to believe they are still listening to what's out there. You got a couple days left. So that elephant in the room, and then go out there and put that performance on. And again, I've said this on this show, the Titans have been their best when Derrick Henry on this roster, when he has touched the ball and taught as far as carries, 18 to 22 times. He had 22 carries today over 100 yards, and look what happened. And 2 weeks ago when he only had 12 touches. It's interesting to hear the rhetoric of the public, the media, and then what internally what the organization is saying. So we'll see over the next 2 days. You know, you hope that he's still around. You hope he's still got some juice in his legs and things. He showed it a little bit today. But it remains to be seen the next couple of days.
615-737-1045. If you want in, talk about this big win for the Titans. We are here until 6:30, walking you up until Sunday Night Football. Brent Dougherty, the doctor, Kevin Dyson. 615-737-1045. Dice Will Levis, 19 to 29, 238 yards and 4 touchdowns. Yeah. And what's even more intriguing, he put stuff on tape. Yeah. You know what else he put on tape? The desire and ability to throw that deep shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something that had been missing from the Titans' game plan so far this season, pretty much.
And I was talking to Smiley earlier, man. Just there was a couple throws.
Producer Jackson, yes.
Yeah, a couple throws that thrown off his back leg. He still put one in the air, 40-something to Traylon, and then the touchdown there to end up
off the back foot. That's right. That's a good point. When he threw that ball, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
and then
his arm strength is unmatched right now. And I think that translates to him being able to take shots. But more importantly, he didn't seem scared in the pocket.
No.
He seemed relaxed and comfortable in his skin throughout the game. I saw a couple times, even there was like I don't know what happened on one of the run plays. I think it was like a third and 6 maybe. And it was a high snap. He just took it and ran, just got what he can get. And people probably didn't think nothing of that play, but that was pretty substantial to me. There was just like this comfort level he had with the offense and what he was doing. He just never got outside his skin, man. And that, to me, if he can stay within himself and they can start building around his strengths, he's going to be hard to deal with for the next few weeks or however long this Tannehill's out. And we'll get into that, but you don't typically lose your job, professional sports, because of injury. You typically don't. Usually you lose it for transitional purposes, like season's over, drafted a guy, it's his turn, or performance.
Right.
Like, guys playing bad, guys come in, he gets benched, blah, blah, blah. We seen it with Tom Brady when his opportunity came, and from an injury he came. Well, it happens, but not typically. And it hasn't typically happened in this organization in the last 20-something years where a guy gets hurt, the backup comes in, and when the starter comes back, he doesn't get his job back. So is this one sample size?
That's right.
Enough?
Now, got another game in 4 days. So
yeah. Is it enough to say it's the changing of the guard?
The most famous, case involving injured player losing his job would be Wally Pipp to Lou Gehrig. Hey, man, Pip, you're doing a great job, bro. Might want to sit out a couple more games. And, the rest is history. One of the great baseball players of all time.
Bledsoe to Tom Brady.
Bledsoe to Tom Brady. That's a good one from the NFL. I mentioned that this week, actually, because what we were talking about on 3HL was, what happens if – and I said if Will Levis plays well and they win both of these games, because I think it would be hard for an ankle sprain to – come back with an early week and a road trip. Get on an airplane, all those things. Yeah. My guess is he'll miss 2, right? Yeah. Maybe more. I don't know. But I said, what if Will Levis plays well and they win both games? And Slay said, he doesn't even need to play well. What if they just win both games? Then what do you do? And I said, if I'm the coach, I might say, hey, man, you need another week on that ankle, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are ways to do it.
As a competitor, hey, coach, I'm good to go. I'm ready. I'm good. And now you, as a coach, you got to make a decision.
Look, I know we're we have recency bias, but this is true. That is one of the great first game performances by a quarterback in NFL history. There's only been one other time that someone threw 4 touchdown passes in their first game. That was Marcus Mariota.
Who had a great first game, too.
Funny. But true.
Yeah.
It's only happened one time. What we saw today has only happened one time in the history of the league.
Yeah. And they both were for Titans.
Right. And
we're at number 8. Maybe that's the thing.
Maybe that is the thing. Maybe different career trajectories there. But that's what I meant by maybe it's a good thing that it's a short week. So it's easier for him to block that out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what he had today, and I know you're going to agree with me. He had complete confidence.
Yes.
His body language was confident. He had swagger. He took the play clock to 1 several times trying to get the defense to jump off sides. No delays of game.
Right.
This was so unlike a rookie performance.
Yeah, there was one incident.
It's hard for me to not just get exceptionally excited about this.
As most people are right now.
Right.
And agreeable. Man, he throw 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. He even seemed close to turning the ball over today.
The one pass that he tried to throw away that was almost picked off. But, yeah.
And I barely even remember that play. But only one time there seemed to be some kind of miscommunication, like a minor miscue where he had Derrick Henry on the wrong side. He did a play fake to the opposite side, and he seemed rushed. But that was minor. And the play ended up being a negative play, but it wasn't like one of those plays where it kept the Titans from progressing to what they obviously were trying to do with him. I think, you got to give Kelly his flowers as well. I mean, I think he did a good job of calling a great game, keeping the Falcons off balance, staying within the system for Levis to have success. He just seemed like he had a better grasp of what he was capable of. It's almost like with Willis, they're unsure of what to call at times, and they want to call their offense where they didn't, at least from my vantage point, didn't seem unsure with Levis, if that makes sense.
They had a lineup malfunction on one play that was a completed pass for a lot of yards. Chig dropped one that would have been 40 or something.
Oh, he's hurting on that one. I know.
So, I mean, the 19-29 for 238 could have been close to a 300-yard passing performance.
It should have been.
But the biggest thing to me outside of numbers is what I said. He just looked calm, cool, collected, swagger, confident, all of those things.
Yeah. I saw that Saturday morning at practice.
You did?
Yeah, and it was interesting because I don't know if and all the players that may be listening to this, they are watching it. I was watching him, and he threw the ball a lot to D-Hop. I know it's just walkthrough, and it just maybe I would just read more into it. But there was other things I was watching. I was looking at that, but I did notice he didn't act like a guy about to embark on his first career professional start in the National Football League. He seemed comfortable. He seemed relaxed. He seemed confident. He just seemed like he had a command of what was going on. He knew exactly what was going on. You saw him even today. Like,
so you can kind of see it.
You can kind of see it. You saw him. He's calling out the mic. He was doing different things. He was moving pieces around.
Yeah.
Just like he's been doing it for all season long. So that was refreshing to see him have that confidence. It was actually great to see because you were like, okay, they just gonna keep it vanilla. He's no checks at the line. He's just gonna have to run what's run, and you got one read, two reads, stay one half of the field. No, he was in command of what he was doing his offense, and I was sitting there watching it with D-Hop in their walkthrough, and I was like, he's about to have a big game. And not that I thought he'd have a game like today with 3 tugs and all that, but I thought, dang, he's gonna be looking for it. I mean, smart.
Oh, DeAndre, yep.
Yeah, go to the veteran. Feed him a little bit.
DeAndre Hopkins hadn't caught a touchdown pass in 10 games. He caught 3 today.
That's just making up for old times.
How
lost
about
time,
that?
bro.
How about that? Back to your Ryan Tannehill point. We could talk about this when we come back. You come up with another performance like this and win in Pittsburgh, how are you going to tell the locker room you're bringing Tannehill back?
He's a captain.
I mean,
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Trust on you because you were there.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
And I'm telling you, all these calls line up these screens right now. That's the conversation because it's very reminiscent to when Tannehill took over from Mariota a few years ago.
And they stayed with him.
And they stayed with him until they couldn't no more. So we're at that crossroads.
Later. But he's 35. That's a whole different thing.
That's a whole different thing.
All right.
But that pocketbook speaks volumes too now. I'm just saying. He makes a lot of bread, man. You going to have all that money sitting on the sidelines?
Oh, Tannehill was gone from this organization after this year anyway. It's cemented now.
Okay.
I'm talking about beyond. You're not re-signing him.
No, unless you get an extension where you can reduce some of that cap number.
He's like $23 million.
Yeah, if you can reduce that cap number to have him back up Levis, is he willing to do that? I don't know. We'll see.
I got 10 spot on the table. You want in on that?
No, I'm just saying. I'm arguing just for argument's sake.
All right, Lee Company, Titans Talkback, 615-737-1045. We have one line open. We will take tons of phone calls today. Brent Dougherty, Kevin Dyson with you until 6:30. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online, leecompany.com. We'll be right back. Lee Company Titans Talkback. Titans with a big win today, 28-23 over the Atlanta Falcons. Will Levis, rookie quarterback, making his first start, 19-29, 238 yards and 4 touchdowns. Mike Keith will join 3HL tomorrow at 4:20, and Nick Westbrook-Akine will join 3HL at 5 o'clock. Had the big 33-yard, what turned out to be game-winning touchdown reception in the end zone, perfectly thrown ball off the back foot by Will Levis. It's interesting listening to Titans radio. Mike Keith and Coach Mack both kind of echoed what you said, Kevin Dyson, that based on what they've seen at practice, they weren't surprised by today.
No, and, before we got there Saturday morning, the conversation was, Malik and Levis will kind of share reps and, kind of similar to that Chicago preseason game.
That one.
And as soon as I saw a walkthrough and I saw Levis, I think he took 2, maybe 3 snaps in practice. I was like, no, this is Levis' show.
What I had heard last week was that same thing Ian Rappaport had heard, that Levis would get the start, would get the majority of the reps. There might be a package and there would be a package for Malik Willis, and they did that. And they did it. There were 2 plays, 1 fumble, a 4-yard run.
Let's keep it moving.
Isn't it interesting, though, that Malik Willis played in – this was his 11th game. That was Will Levis's first.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's – to me, there's separation now.
Yeah.
Obviously. And I think, again – you've illustrated, I got people texting me, and I'm sure these callers are going to say it, man. He just seemed to have command. He seemed comfortable. He didn't seem like a rookie. He did not seem like this was his first start.
It was like he was in a bookstore looking for, Chaucer, drinking a cup of coffee. Like, it was like
real. He was so comfortable. I think, to me, that's the greatest strength that he had today was he didn't get rattled. And again, it wasn't like Atlanta was just sitting there and let him pick him apart. They was coming after him.
That's a good defense.
Yeah. They first in the South for a reason. So, and again, they had their own quarterback troubles now, it looks like. You benched a guy after the first half. He was a healthy scratch at the second half. So that's a whole other conversation. What are they going to go through
this week? I started to say my guess is you go back to Desmond Ridder, but, Heinicke played well.
Yeah, he played well. But, again, you got to manage that psyche of a young quarterback still trying to figure some things out who needs the reps. You only get better by playing.
Do you know what the Falcons were coming in? Atlanta was they had won 2 out of their last 3. They were number 3 in the NFL in total defense going against a rookie quarterback making his first start. God. Number 7 in the NFL against the pass and number 8 in the NFL against the run. The Falcons have allowed just 1 rushing touchdown all season. That remains intact. None in the last 5 games now. That's a good defense.
That's a good defense, man. Their defense has held them together. Their offense has been herky-jerky. They've had some injuries to their star running back. I don't even know where Pitts is. I got him on fantasy ball. I thought he was going to have a breakout year, but I don't even know where he's at. He's nowhere to be seen in the red zone. But their defense has held things together, similar to the Titans. Again, we're talking about Will Levis and the offense and the numbers, and I get it because, again, would you say they hadn't scored 28 points in how many games? It's been 28 games.
They hadn't scored more than 27 in 28 games.
But we forget, without Kevin Byard, how well this defense performed today.
I think that's true, too. And it was kind of a hodgepodge in the secondary. And Hubbard goes down at right tackle with a concussion, so the way you prepare all week is immediately changed. MPF goes back to right tackle, and then Dillard comes back in at left tackle. Props to the offensive line. Yes. They held up pretty well today.
Man, special
pretty
teams.
Clean pocket.
It was a team effort today. It was.
Atlanta started 7 drives inside their 15-yard line today. Yeah. How about that?
Flipping the field, man.
Yep.
615. That helps a quarterback. That helps your quarterback. All that helps your quarterback.
615-737-1045. Dice, you want to take a bunch of phone calls?
Let's go.
All right, Susie in Chattanooga. Susie, what's up?
Woo! So happy. It's about time. I had called last week and talked to Blaine and Mickey, and I was like, I just don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do. And I'll tell you what. They came out, and they did what they can do, and we got a quarterback. And his name is Will Levis. And we believe in Will. And we believe in the King. We believe in Big Jeff. We believe in Kevin Byard. We love you, Kevin. We miss you. I cannot wait. I hope they keep this going. They can do it. They can do it. Tajay, you get out there and do your best. Our kicker, our punter, you name it, we're back.
Love
we're
it. Hey,
end of the season team, and we're fixing to show out.
Thank you, Susie. Appreciate it. 615-737-1045, 615-737-1045. Yeah, it's interesting because, felt like the bye week was at a perfect time when when QB1 goes down and you have to get a rookie ready. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
I also think it's perfect timing for a short week because I think it's easier to forget this, right?
Yeah,
you got to move on quickly.
He's got no time to listen to all the pats on the back.
No, because he's going to have 200 phone calls on his phone, 800 text messages, and hey, man, I got to worry about Pittsburgh.
And let me tell you, I literally was thinking this as I was about to leave here, and we were thinking about what you're going to say, and you're putting your notes together and all that kind of stuff. The way the NFL is set up, and specifically for head coaches and quarterbacks, where they get a lot of credit, a lot of blame, he cannot listen to anything anybody's saying. We're all singing his praises, and rightfully so. He had a good game. But as soon as you have a bad game, all the boos come out, the naysayers, and how does he handle that? And that's going to be the true testament, because Tannehill's at the game. You don't think he heard all that?
Oh, he was on the sideline. They kept showing him, and he was smiling and hugging Will Levis. And
he was working through it. But he hears all that too.
Of course.
And so right now, everybody's calling for this young gun to come in and do what he did today. But as soon as he shows some kind of chink in the armor, all the boo birds come out, and it's going to be like, he's not this. We should have put Malik in. It's going to be all the opposite of what we're hearing today. But how does he handle that? Now, hopefully we don't have to worry about that for a long time, if ever. I'm hoping it doesn't turn to that. But that's the way this business is, especially when you're a starting quarterback in a National Football League. The spotlight is always on you. And head coach is the same. The spotlight is always on you. Receivers can get a pass sometimes. Linemen can get a pass sometimes. DBs. Quarterback, you never get a pass. It's always on you.
How do you think Malik deals with this? He went in for that second snap, and the crowd booed.
Hopefully he's securing himself and knows his ability.
Seems like it with the offseason he had, but, you have to see what just happened today and understand, there's distance between you and not only two, but also one. You're third by a healthy amount now.
Yeah. But I look at different offenses and look at his skill set.
Yes.
And I think he's in a system that doesn't necessarily fit his skill set.
Right.
That's okay. They got the guy for potential and what he can do, but that don't mean he can't play. Because I still think he has ability, and we've seen it. But it might not be what they do here.
Listen, if you're thinking about 2024, I think now you're comfortable in developing Will Levis as your starting quarterback. I also think you're comfortable in Malik Willis being your backup.
I think so.
That's where I am.
Yeah. Because you got 2 years invested in him.
And he has experience and, all of those
And
things.
he has shown some good flashes. Now, that the game in London and decision-making there at the end and not going out of bounds, not throwing the ball away, taking the sacks, that's stuff that you have to really hone in and work on him from a mental aspect of the game. And that stuff is coachable. And there's some other things I think he does well, but he's got to work on his pocket presence. Actually, he does pretty well with that. But what I mean by that, being able to step in, not throwing off his back foot, because he seems to get off of an alignment, if you will, and his throws
quickly too.
Yeah, his throws get inaccurate. But he has an ability. He has some ability. But right now, from what I've seen in that small sample size, Will Levis is a little further ahead, a little more ready.
Exactly. Sometimes it takes guys more time than others. I mean, and that's okay, right? And when you look 4 years down the line or whatever. But in terms of where we are now, I think it's pretty obvious.
And you know what? I'm saying this, Brent,
of where we are right now.
This is the first time I got to see that dude up close. Was yesterday morning. That's a big old boy. People just look different. And again, I was talking to Mace and Lance Schulters today, and I was like, dude, I know I used to be considered a big receiver at 6'2", 200-something pounds. And I'm looking at these dudes like I look like a little fella. I'm in the locker room or in the building, and Traylon Burke and D-Hop and all them walked up, and I'm like, I felt little to a bunch of receivers. And I was like, these dudes are monsters now. And these kids, and Will Levis was right along with that. His stature is just different. That's a big old boy, man. Look at a linebacker playing quarterback.
615-737-1045. Malika next up on Lee Company Titans Talkback. Malika, what's up?
Hey, guys, great win, perfect win. It's the D-Hawk and Will Levis show. More wins will come. Thanks for taking my call. Tighten up. Let's go, boys.
Thank you, Malika. Now, Will Levis has tape, right? So the Steelers have something to watch.
Yeah.
What do the Titans do to kind of offset that, change things up? How difficult will that be for a rookie quarterback to kind of
self-scout? You got one of the best pass rushers in the game coming at you.
Yes.
So
how big of a challenge will that be now that there is tape on him?
If I'm Kelly and Vrabel, my conversation might not – it'll be with Levis, but my conversation is with the offensive line coach. It's y'all got a big task this week. We got to be able to run the ball effectively. We got to keep that pass rush off of our quarterback.
Right, because he had a clean pocket today.
He sure
What
did.
if he doesn't?
Yeah, because
you know what I mean?
Now you're getting bumped, getting hits, balls going in the air, things of that nature. And when you got Watt coming at you, he's one of the best. If he's not the best in the game, Bosa and all these other guys are in that conversation. He's definitely up there. He's a double-digit sack guy every time.
You know another play that stood out to me when you talk about how cool that dude was today? And I'm a big body language guy. Like, you could tell immediately, like, he had confidence, like the way he moved about himself and he had swagger. There was a play where he had a shot it looked like he was going to take, and he immediately got rushed. Didn't even look out here, but knew Derrick Henry was out there and threw it at his feet.
Yeah. Decision-making.
That was like, I think that illustrated how calm he was in the moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
that was a veteran move right there.
And there was another one he threw to
because a lot of rookies would have taken a sack there.
Yeah, and there was one he kind of lobbed into Derrick's belly, and he got the first down. And I was like, man, that's a small play that was crucial. I mean, as we watch his highlights now, man, the kid.
It's going to be all over all of the shows.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everybody. See, that's the point. Everybody's going to be saying, how this is the next dude.
Yeah.
And he's got to temper that.
And he got the Orioles uniform. That's even better.
You know as well as anyone. Having played at the highest level, that game will bring you back down to earth quickly.
and that's what we don't want to happen Thursday.
Right.
Prime time or Steelers. And trust me,
that's a different thing.
That's a different beast.
On the road
in Heinz Field.
Yeah.
On Heinz Field, you talking about some passionate fans, man. Hey,
that was the NWI play we were talking about during the break.
And look at him, man. Hey,
he's on his back.
Hey, and again, Tiny Hill's a veteran. He's been through this before. He's been through it on both sides of this.
Ooh, that's a bad stat. They're putting up there right there. Tannehill has 2 touchdown passes this season.
And 6
Will
picks.
Levis
4.
Had 4 today.
And Tannehill's listening to all this. He probably ain't got the TV on. He's let me get
listening to us right now.
Yeah.
This is all obvious stuff. It's not like, we're spewing a bunch of hot takes right now.
He's been through this.
Oh, yeah.
He threw it in Miami. He was through it here on the other side of it when Mariota had all the whispers about him. So he's a pro. So he gets it. But as a competitor, person that is competitive, you want to be able to say, I can do that. I still can play.
Yep.
And knowing him and how his career has gone, this is not sitting well with him, and nor should it. He wants to play, and he feels like he still has a lot in the tank. But however,
at that point, do you rush back from injury?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, Coach, I got it. I'm good. Now, to your point, do they say, no, don't worry about it. Let me see. Go ahead and get healthy. Don't rush it.
Yeah.
And now, if you go week 2, week 3, week 4, and say he's 3-1, and he's had some ups and downs, but he's 3-1. Like you said, Slay said, like, he's 3-1.
You're 5-5 at that point through 10. You're probably in second place in the division.
Do you say, I can deal with these ups and downs. Let me develop him because he's going to be our guy for the future. Let's just keep riding. And then how's that conversation go?
In the division today, Jacksonville with a 20-10 win in Pittsburgh. So Jacksonville now 6-2.
They stretching out that lead.
Yep. The Titans with the win, 28-23 over the Falcons, are now 3-4, tied with Houston, who lost to Carolina today, who had not won a game.
Wow, that's how close this league is, man.
Yep. weird things happen every week. 15-13. I don't know why anyone would bet on NFL football. Indianapolis also lost today to the Saints, 38-27. So they are 3-5 and now in last place.
Wow.
In the AFC South. So Jacksonville at 6-2, Tennessee and Houston at 3-4, Indy at 3-5.
Wow.
615-737-1045. Eric in Nashville. Eric, how are you, man?
Hey, guys, y'all caught me off guard with the post-game show because I still thought they were going to be going back to talk about play of the game and focus on the game Thursday night, so that's why I got in a little bit late.
Hey, you caught us by surprise too, man.
Yeah. But I was going to say, you were talking about Desmond Ridder. Now, Mike Keith said a few minutes later that they believe he's been checked for concussion, so they did say health scratch at first, but then I heard before concussion.
Listen, Eric, he was, but he was cleared.
Yeah.
He was cleared.
I didn't know that.
That was the first drive of the second half. He was cleared. Heineke went back in the second drive of the second half, finished the game.
And then come back in.
Yeah, and a couple of the quick things, guys, and I'll be honest. I did not expect the performance today by Will Levis.
Nobody did.
Right.
I thought it was always going to be a low-scoring game, but I'm pleasantly surprised, and I think we finally found a quarterback. And, guys, please, it's just the whole thing with Malik Willis. Need to stop that, please. I think that was the fourth time first play when they tried to play fumble the ball, and I think there was another game he had two back-to-back fumbles. You feel bad for the kid, but it's just I don't know if that's just something that now is in his mind because that play keeps happening, and it's just frustrating where we get a play like that and then just turn the ball over, guys. But otherwise, great win, guys. Real happy. Let's go and tighten up.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it, man. Make sure all y'all listen to the Zone all week because we've got a short week to prepare for Pittsburgh.
Woo!
And we'll get you prepared. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home too. Your next play, visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. DeAndre Hopkins, Dyson second 100-yard game. Remember when people were in the offseason were like, man, don't sign him. He's old. He can't do it anymore. My gosh. 4 for 128 today and 3 touchdowns.
Yes.
Woo.
And again, they did a lot of crossing things with him, got him moving, double move on the safety. Will Levis was patient, had his shoulders pointing at it, gave him a good ball.
Maybe some OPI there, but my thing was he was interfered with before the potential OPI.
Yes.
And I think that's why the official let it go.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like, I didn't throw the flag on the one thing, so.
Yep.
I don't know. But, at some point, you played wide receiver in the NFL. It's a physical thing.
Yeah.
Even though, it seems like there's pass interference on like every deep ball, but it's a very physical thing out there.
Mm-hmm. And there was the one that they pulled from the Titans. Falcons went crazy over it. I think it was. I don't even remember who the safety was.
Amani Hooker
was a Hooker, and again, I thought the receiver initiated the contact.
Yes, and the ball was thrown inside.
And the ball was thrown inside.
Yeah.
And I was like, and they threw the flag. I was like, oh, my God, we're getting ridiculous. And I played receiver. I was like, this is getting ridiculous. And again, some of that was being a homer, but the other part of it was I was like, what is the DB supposed to do at that point? Yeah. And then I'm glad they pulled the flag because I was like, dang, if they calling that a flag, then as a DB, you have no shot to play the ball in the air.
He did turn around and look for the ball.
Like, he almost picked it.
He did everything you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And just because there is some contact doesn't necessarily mean it's
pass interference.
Yeah. 615-737-1045. Let's go to Connor in Nashville. Connor, what's up?
Hey, just want to shout out a couple of the players besides Will Levis. Nicholas Petit-Ferrer being able to go from left tackle, your right tackle goes down, switch over to right side.
Yep.
Ryan Stonehouse continues to be an awesome punter coming after Brett Kern. Also, seeing the return to form for Harold Landry, seeing him before his injury, tighten up. Let's go tight.
Love it, man. Yeah, Stonehouse with, 6 inside the 20? And they're getting better at covering his punts because he booms it. 52.5 yards. That's tough for a gunner to get down that far that fast.
There was one when Moore caught it in the air. I was like, man, I get it. You can't let it roll because you don't know where it's going to bounce. It might go in the end zone. But he caught it like on the 8-9 yard line because it hung up there so long. But, man, I talked to Kern, I guess about a week ago. Our kids were playing flag football against one another, and we were just talking about it. He just said, man, like
who Bryce was?
Yeah. And he was just saying, man, the kid's leg is unreal.
He said he knew it first day. He said it just sounded different off his foot.
It just sounded different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when
He's
you
like,
go play golf with me versus Rory or something. It just sounds different coming off his club, you know.
You and me, maybe. All right, more Lee Company Titans talk back when we come back. And we'll have the Kroger Sacks for Cash for you when we come back as well. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Brent Dougherty, Kevin Dyson with you. 615-737-1045. Yep, we'll tell you who the sack artists were next and take more of your phone calls. Your reaction. Titans win 28-23. This is Lee Company Titans Talk Back.
Play fake. Levis rolling to the right, looking, firing deep downfield, going for Westbrook Akine in the end zone. Touchdown! Titans! Will Levis on his back gets to watch as he has just thrown his 4th touchdown pass of his NFL debut. Hey, that dude has got an arm. Whoa! What a big time throw.
HL coming up tomorrow with NWI at 5 o'clock. Lee Company Titans Talkback on the air right now. Brent Dougherty and Kevin Dyson. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Titans Steelers coming up on Thursday. It's funny how the pendulum of emotion swings in professional sports.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Like Tennessee weather.
48 tomorrow, something like that?
Yes, it changes just like that. It's been nice little spring-type weather. Nice 80 degrees. Get a rude awakening tomorrow, huh?
DeAndre Hopkins, 4 receptions, 128 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And the crossing route, man, was spectacular because Levis delivered the ball a little bit behind him and at full speed. I mean, you played in the NFL, wide receiver. Like, how hard is that at full speed to reach all the way behind your body?
And not lose momentum.
And catch it and not lose momentum. And not, like, if I do it, like, I'm just sitting in my chair doing it, I'm like, straining my back.
That's because we're old. But, but, man, just full speed coming across. You got to turn your back or your shoulders away from potential contact to get your shoulders back north and south and to make a spin move, get in the end zone, man. Shows you got a little bit in the tank still, man. We can stop talking about D-Hop and what he can't do. Let's talk about what the man can do. He's still making plays.
2 100-yard games.
Yeah. Come on. Everybody talk about what the man can't do anymore, but I tell you what, I've said it before.
Speaking of that, go ahead.
If he's I've always said he might not be the best route runner or whatever your barometer for best receivers, but as far as playmakers, he's one of the best to do it. If you ever watch this man's career, his highlights, you watch the amount of hard jump ball type catches, like outside of your catch radius, your frame. And I got a chance to meet him for the first time this weekend, and his hand side, I said, other than Javon Curse.
You dabbed him up?
Yeah, other than Javon Curse, I hadn't shook anybody's hands that big. Zach Peeler's got some big hands too, but he's a lineman. But like
he's got big, thick hands.
And they're long. He got some big
over there at Neighbors at McEwen.
Yeah.
Go see him.
Oh man. But other than that, man, I was like, dang, no wonder why he don't drop anything. He's got some mitts on it, but he's a
you're saying
playmaker.
that Zach Peeler could be a good wide receiver, huh?
He catch the ball. You know he tied in up until he got to Florida.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he tied in. He can catch. People don't realize how athletic these linemen actually are. I know 340, 50 pounds, you don't think them as athletes, but I'm telling you what, playing with people like Brad Hopkins and Bruce Matthews and some of these guys, and on defensive side, people, of course, like Javon Curse and stuff like that, but people forget these dudes played basketball and all kind of stuff, wrestlers and everything else. They're athletes, and that's why they're in the position what they're in.
4 for 128 and 3 touchdowns. And then the beautiful off the back foot throw to NWI that gave the Titans some score separation there, which was huge in the fourth quarter.
Pretty much sealed the deal.
By the way, you mentioned Derrick Henry. A lot of trade rumors revolving around him. The trading deadline is Tuesday. I wonder, based off today, if anything changed with regard to Titan plan with Rand Carthon and the guys.
I wouldn't think so. I think if anything else, if there is trade baits or rumors, it only helps because the value goes up.
Apparently, reportedly, they've told Derrick Henry they are not pursuing a trade from him. That doesn't necessarily mean they won't do it, because you can easily say that and then someone calls you and be like, hey, they offered us this, we had to do it, blah, blah, blah. But interesting, Derrick Henry in Nissan Stadium this year, again, 3-0, and these are his games. 25 for 80 and a touchdown against the Chargers, 22 for 122 and a touchdown against Cincinnati, 22 and for 101 today. So that's 69 for 303 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's averaging 101 yards per game in Nissan Stadium this year.
That's 75% of his rushing yards this year, isn't it?
Something like that.
Dang. Well, I mean, again, it's the blueprint for when they've won. If we probably did the data dive from when this time with Vrabel and him being here, if you look at statistically, I guarantee you, when he touches the ball 20 plus times in that mid range, we'll just say 20 just to be safe. But I was always saying 18 or 22, 23, 24, somewhere in there, they've won. And especially in the second half. But that has been shared publicly throughout his career. He's just a guy who needs touches, man. And when he doesn't get it, he just seems to be just a normal guy.
615-737-1045 if you want in. Thomas in Nashville. Thomas, what's up?
Hey, guys. I want to say great win for them again.
Yep.
I got a lot to talk about. I want to say about Levis. If just looking at him, he plays like Tannehill. He's got like almost the same capabilities. And Levis, I like him too. But Willis, I don't know. I think he needs a lot more to go to. With these next 3 road games, they have to play Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, and Jacksonville. And that Jacksonville game is going to be something when they come up in November. Just want to also touch bases on the trade deadline about the rumors of Henry and Tannehill and Hopkins, and get y'all's thoughts.
Appreciate it, Thomas. Yeah, Autry's another name that's been floated out there. Tannehill, I could see.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see Minnesota lost Kirk Cousins today. They're 4-4, so they're still trying to – I mean, they feel like they're playing for a playoff spot. So you could do a rent-a-player there. Tannehill in the last year of his deal would be a possibility. I've heard that Tannehill's injury is not that bad.
Yeah.
So maybe 2 games, and only because of the short week maybe even. So if you're wondering, like, how could they trade him? He's hurt. They don't really look at it like that a lot of cases. I could see that. I don't know about Derrick. The thing about Derrick Henry is he's useful this year.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, if you let him go the end of the season and you let him go, he's in the last year of his deal as well, then you lose him and you don't get anything.
You don't get anything for him. And I think that's the thing that's kind of going unsaid is, do we just play this out and let him go at the end of the year and get absolutely nothing for him, or do we shop around? Do we feel like Tajay and whoever else can supplement his productivity and try to get something out of it similar to what they got out of Byard? Maybe a couple picks and a player or another back that can be serviceable. You got 2 days to decide. I mean, they put it out there that they're not shopping him around, but what they didn't say is that, no, nobody's called us about it. Nobody's offered it. They just saying we're not shopping him. So there's going to be people requiring him. I can think of a few teams, especially in the AFC, that I would assume that probably have contacted them that would be interested, that are also kind of looking for an added punch to their offense because they're in that playoff potential run. But it remains to be seen. It'd be interesting to see. I think one thing's for certain, beyond this year, Derrick Henry's future with the Titans is questionable. I just don't know unless they plan on signing him to a 10-year deal or a 2 or 3 year multi-year deal, but at the minimum for his productivity. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting dynamic from after Tuesday, if he's still here, what happens with Derrick Henry as a Tennessee Titan.
Boy, can you imagine if they traded him? The market reaction in Nashville. 615-737-1045. I totally agree with you, though. I mean, he's going to be 30 in January.
Yeah. And, I mean, if
we had Greg Cosell on Thursday, and he watches film without emotion, and he said the long run that we all got excited about, he was like, that's the first time I've seen that he's lost kind of a step.
Because he would have scored a year or two ago. And I never said that publicly or anything like that, but I think a lot of people thought that too. Like, did he lose a step, or that guy just got him and he didn't really get to get going? But that was one of those times where, and again,
it was a great run.
Yeah, it could be a little bit of both, but I was surprised he got tackled too on that one.
Lee Company, all you need, visit them online, leecompany.com, 615-737-1045. Brent Dougherty and the good Dr. Kevin Dyson. Brady in the Borough next up. Brady, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? I just want to shout out my boy Shahir, Al Shahir. I think he's an underrated guy on our defense. He's all over the field. He's just a great all-around defensive player. He's fast. And then Stonehouse, man, he's able to put the ball down the field. He flips the field for us. I was at the game. I mean, It's just amazing when you have that momentum for your defense, putting them inside their own 10. It really helps our team, man. Tighten up.
Thank you, brother. 615-737-1045. Sorry, I was talking to Jackson off air while Brady finished up there. But, yeah, he made a great point about Azeez Al-Shire. And he came up today big on short yardage situations. That's one thing where he certainly was noticed. Mm-hmm. But, something he hasn't been asked to do is pass coverage. And he's been really good at that. His last 3 games, 15 tackles, 11 today led the team.
He's playing at a high level, man. He's looking like a great signing. He just got a chance to watch him a little bit today. He's fast. He's got good instincts. He gets to the ball. He flows fast, man, and he plays at a high level. Definitely he complements the interior guys, Tart and Big Jeff. He complements them very well with his skill set. So it's fun to watch him.
615-737-1045. Time for the Kroger Sacks for Cash. Today, the Titans had 6 sacks, courtesy of 5 of them were in the first half. That's part of what led to Desmond Ridder not being in the game anymore. 6 sacks today. All right, Jeffrey Simmons had 2. Harold Landry had 2. Jack Gibbons had 1. Danico Autry also had 1. So that's 6 today, added to the 15, and every time the Titans sack the opposing team's quarterback, Kroger donates $100 to Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee. From Kroger, through its Zero Hunger, Zero Waste plan, Kroger is committed to enduring hunger in our communities. So 15 plus 6 is 21. That's $2,100 from Kroger to Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee. 615-737-1045. Titans win 28-23. Will Levis in his first start, 19-29, 238 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Adam in Portland next up. Adam, what's up?
Hey, bro. Hey, so Dice, man, I don't know if you remember. I called a few weeks ago when we got throttled by Cleveland. I'm like, you know what? I don't believe in this quarterback, man. So it doesn't surprise me. And then the next week we throttled Cincinnati, and I go, you know what? I'm still not going to get too high up. This is what I've been waiting for, man. I've been waiting for this feeling, for the guy to come in. He was a field general. That's all I wanted. I wanted somebody with confidence to say, hey, Titans fans, I hear you. I feel you. I know you exist. Get on my shoulders. We're going to ride you to victory. I thought it was beautiful. His deep balls, super effortless, it just scares me that Tannehill's not able to do that. I feel like if he was in quarterback today, not to bag on the guy, he's not in there, but I feel like we would have lost the game today. I don't know if you guys feel like that, but Malik getting this last point, Malik getting booed, that is not on Malik. I hope he's listening to your guys' show because it's a very popular show. He is not the reason he got booed. Vrabel is the reason he got booed. I feel like Vrabel's proud. He's always bagging on the media. Or they're going back and forth with him, and anyway, he said, I'm not going to name a starter and I'm going to play both guys. So he made sure he played him, but he got his quarterback booed today. He should have never been on that field.
Appreciate you, man. I mean, the way it went down today was nothing I didn't expect.
Yeah.
With Malik getting a couple of reps and Levis going the whole way.
Yeah.
Now, would it have been different had Levis not been playing as well as he was? Maybe.
Yeah. And I think so, too, because I think nobody would have booed if he came in there and kind of laid an egg. But, a lot of times when I listen throughout the week and read articles or hear what coaches say, you're always trying to read between the lines of the conversation and, going to split time, we're going to get him some reps. But ultimately, if I'm going with the guy who hasn't played ever and he's going to be my starter, but he's still going to get reps, that lets you know what everything you need to know. That's the guy of the future for sure. That's not even a conversation anymore of who's going to be the starter and replacing Tannehill when his time is up in Tennessee. I think, and now today, again, today's performance aside, when you went ahead and named that man the starter and he hasn't played, that was it. I mean, you pretty much told me he's a guy.
They knew what they had in him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody kind of expected this necessarily, but
yeah. I mean, it's one sample size, and we're high on him.
That's the thing. I think. Do you think that we need to put that out there? Like, hey, y'all, I know, great performance, one of the best in the history of the league in terms of rookie quarterback first start, but there will be ups and downs.
There's going to be a down time. I mean,
that league will humble you, man.
Come on, man. I'll go to Ryan Leaf. If y'all remember Ryan Leaf.
Yep.
And I love Ryan. We become friends after the fact.
Me too.
And he came here and beat us. As we were Tennessee Oilers. He came and won.
At Vandy.
Yep. He didn't win again. I mean, he probably did. But, I mean, my point is.
He was out of the league.
But everybody was, he's the greatest thing. He's number 2 pick. He was great. And then he struggles from that point on. And my point is, I'm not saying, please, y'all, I'm not saying Levis is going to be the next Ryan Leaf. That's not what I'm saying. He's not going. And Ryan is a friend, and he wouldn't be mad at me what I'm saying and talking about him. But what I'm talking about is how he was built up so much because he was number 2 pick behind Peyton Manning. He was playing well, and then it just went from the penthouse to the crap house just like that. And people just jumped on him. Well, Levis you're going to have to expect no quarterback ever has perfect game. Now, even Mahomes, as we watch this on TV a little bit, even him has had bad days. But the patience that people have in the development is going to mean something as this guy gets better. We've seen Stroud, who seemingly doesn't play like a rookie. He's been playing very, very well. There's other quarterbacks that don't have that. Wilson is still trying to find his voice in the league. Sam Darnold has moved around. This is on his 3rd franchise, who had all the potential in the world. My point in saying all that is there's going to be some downtimes. You just hope there's far and fewer of those than the performances like today when you're up. But there's going to be a downtime.
He looked so calm in the pocket, like calmer than Tannehill this year in the pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's going to make a bad decision. And everybody's going to scratch their temple like, well, maybe he's not the guy.
Right, because, again, most of the time today, that was the best I have to go back and watch it, but it just first view, it looked like the best game the offensive line has played.
Yeah, that too. That's true, too.
You mentioned the challenge that's coming up on Thursday. They break down. He gets hit as he throws. Then where's your decision? Mm-hmm. Everything is sped up.
Yeah.
Then where are you?
Yeah.
And you got to kind of live through those with a young player.
Now, what if like you said, what if he's in a game when he's running for his life? Yeah. And he's scrambling. He's making off-schedule throws. He's out the pocket trying to make throws and things of that nature. How does he respond to that? Now, is he scared in the pocket? Is he bailing out of the pocket too early as opposed to stepping up? Things of that nature. We haven't seen that yet.
Right.
Today, they handled whatever Atlanta threw at them, which I didn't realize they were the 3rd ranked defense
number 3 in the
NFL.
So let me put it this way. So I think we don't know where the floor is, but we know the ceiling is high.
Absolutely. Super high.
Know that from today that the ceiling is high.
Super high. Yep. Absolutely.
All right, 615-737-1045 is the number. Willie Joe in Waynesboro. Willie Joe, what's up?
Yeah.
Yo.
Hey, I just wanted to call in and reiterate some stuff from last week that I called in about. Number one, like we said, Tannehill, that's his last pass of his career with the Titans was 2 weeks ago. Levis should stay in for the rest of the year, let Tannehill go. And we sold one cow, and we got rid of it, and that was Kevin Byard. The defense looked better. Looked like a real defense today. We didn't have to see Kevin Byard running behind people. And another thing is the Vols fans, they didn't want to see old Levis, and I'm one of them. I didn't really want to see him. But I'm going to tell you what, he was impressive today. He looked like an NFL quarterback. His fakes were good. When he did his play actions, he really sold it. He got his feet around. I mean, he looked like an NFL quarterback. He looked 10 times faster than Ryan Tannehill.
Right.
Well, and I just wanted to see what y'all thought about that.
All right, let me say a couple things about Will Levis real quick. Number one, his last year at Kentucky, he hurt his foot early in the season and was told to shelf himself, and he didn't do it.
Yeah.
He played through it. So he was playing injured behind a bad offensive line, and we didn't find that out until well after the season had concluded.
Yeah.
The previous year, he played really well. They had a good offensive line, had some pros. And so I think like those things need to be considered when you talk about Will Levis. He does have a strong arm. Also, Greg Cosell pointed out to us that at Kentucky, he played for two different NFL offensive coordinators where he was given the freedom at the line of scrimmage to check out of plays.
Yeah.
That's not a common thing in college football anymore.
In college football nowadays,
No.
they're telling you where to throw the football.
Exactly. And he took snaps under center, which is not what a lot of college football quarterbacks do. So he was a little more pro-ready than a lot of guys, is what Greg Cosell told us. So those are a few things about Will Levis that maybe you hadn't heard. 615-737-1045. Bryn is in Nashville. Bryn, what's up? Bryn. All right, Jackson, put Bryn, check in with Bryn. 615-737-1045. Ike is in Smyrna. Ike, what up?
Hey, man, what's up? Look here. Let me tell you something. I'm a diehard Vols fan and a Titan fan, but I am sold on Levis. I didn't like him when he played for Kentucky, but I think we got an NFL quarterback.
We'll take it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I mean, how many times am I going to hear that call this week? Do you think?
Hey, it's going to be a fun
I
week.
like him in Kentucky.
It's going to be a fun week of conversation because, again,
It's one game.
It's one game,
but
at the detriment of Tannehill. I mean, if you can call it a slap in the face to him or not, it is what it is. But today's small sample size of a rookie quarterback in his first start, I don't know if we can pull the first starts of the quarterbacks so far this year in their first start, whether it be Carolina, Houston, who else had a rookie start this year?
Well, I mean, how many guys have been in like year 3 and they're still struggling? Well, Justin Fields.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah.
You know
right?
what I mean?
But they finally got an offense that suits him, finally putting some things together for him. But my point in saying that is most quarterbacks on their first NFL start don't look like he did today. He didn't seem to struggle at one part of the game at all. There was a couple of mishaps, maybe communication-wise, but nothing that killed the team. He didn't have those plays that killed the team today.
More of your reaction, Lee Company Titans Talkback, 615-737-1045. Lee Company, all you need, visit them online, leecompany.com. Again, back to the phones. Billy in McMinnville. Billy, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
You got it, bro.
How you doing, man?
Hey, man. Everybody's talking about Levis. He did a great job today. Let's talk about the defense.
Yep.
Big Jeff, Landry, few sacks, helped us out really good. Hey, Derrick Henry got 100 yards. We usually win when he gets 100 yards. I'm really excited about this Titans team. Who would you start, Levis or Tannehill? I'll hang up and listen.
Oh, you trying to put us on the spot?
I mean, he's hurt, so there's that.
Yeah. I like that cop-out answer.
Yeah, my guess is Levis gets the start at Pittsburgh. That's a guess.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
but again, if he plays well on the road in a primetime game against that defense with that pass rusher, and they win, tough time moving him.
I'm going to give you another cop-out answer.
I mean, Vrabel commented on it this week.
Yeah.
He said Ryan Tannehill is our quarterback
when healthy. And typically in a professional setting, you don't lose your starting position.
He's going to get that question again this week.
And he's going to continue to get it. So here's my cop-out answer, if you will.
Okay.
It depends on what Will Levis does as far as the win-loss column over the next 2 weeks-ish, whatever many weeks it is. If he goes, say he plays 4 games and he goes 3-1, it makes it real hard for Vrabel because you are now pretty much in that conversation for a playoffs. You're back in that conversation for playoffs. It makes it hard for him to pull that trigger when you got momentum going. The other factor, the other cop-out answer is, these
are real answers.
They are.
Because, like, people that have been in the game and Vrabel and all these guys, they look at it as more of a big picture thing than fans with the immediate reaction. Like,
right?
Because now, like, a lot of guys are like, hey, man, Will Levis is a Hall of Famer. Get him out there. You know what I mean?
But a veteran who has seen it all, and then you start getting to more of your divisional games, playing guys for the second time around, things of that nature. They've had time to prepare for you. Now there's things that Will hasn't seen compared to what Tannehill has seen. Do you feel confident? Now, if Derrick Henry's not here and that running game is kind of stagnant, do you want to keep a rookie quarterback out there to kind of take some bumps and bruises, or you want to go ahead and hope you got a veteran out there that can make the right decisions? So all that to say is, I don't know. We'll see.
Now that is a cop out. All right, we're going to cop out of here right now. We've got more Titans Talkback. Thanks to Lee Company coming up. We will be here until 6:30. When we come back, we'll work through some of those defensive numbers that we spoke about when we come back. So stay tuned. Lee Company, Titans Talkback. We'll take as many of your phone calls as we can. Your reaction to the Titans 28-23 win over the Falcons today. Will Levis, a huge day. This is Lee Company, Titans Talkback. Lee Company Titans Talkback, Brent Dougherty, the Dr. Kevin Dyson. We are here with you until Sunday Night Football, 6:30 p.m. right here on 104.5 The Zone. Taking your reaction. What a huge win. Titans 28, Falcons 23. First time the Titans have scored more than 27 points since the 2021 season.
Yeah. Right quick, man. I got to give some flowers to TSU band, man. They killed that halftime show. I don't know if anybody saw it. They spelled out Oilers to start and marched through some things. Did a little Beyonce tribute. Ended it with the TSU formation.
Oh, man.
Hey.
The Aristocrat Band.
Man, you better give them some love.
How were they?
Give them the love.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I mean, they right then, if the Titans didn't win, at least I got to see that show. That was good.
I tell people all the time, like, if you don't have anything to do on a Saturday and TSU's playing a home game, go watch them.
Check them out.
Go watch Eddie's product. But also, I mean, the Aristocrat Band is, I mean, one of the more iconic college football traditions in the country.
Yeah, man, and they put on a show for everybody.
Sophisticated ladies, too. I ain't leaving you out.
No, oh, yeah, my bad, y'all. But they got to be right. But they put on a show. They did.
I love it. So, day 2 for the Titans in the draft. Rand Carthon trades up to get Will Levis. They also take Tyjae Spears. How about that moving forward?
Is that the backfield of the future?
I mean,
is that the backfield Thursday night? I feel like I'm throwing daggers at this situation because I don't have to talk about it all week.
You've got Derrick Henry traded, man. He's gone.
Because I don't have to talk about it all week. Y'all got to.
And I don't know the answer to the question. I mean, you're right. You could get something for him right now, but what would you take? Like, this is what I asked Dawn and Slay. If you could get a 4th-round pick for Derrick Henry, would you do it? I think that's the high watermark, honestly.
Because what did he get for Byard? 5th and a 6th?
5th and a 6th and a player.
I would assume. Well, running back's different value nowadays, but you would think at least that.
They're similar, like salary structure-wise, like moving forward. Safeties and running backs.
So 2 picks and a player, depending on the caliber player.
Okay.
4th round is high.
But if I gave you 1 pick, would you do it for a 4th-round pick?
I mean, maybe I'm biased. I don't know if I could, but I'm biased.
Okay.
I just 4th
They both
round.
said yes.
They said for 4th rounder for Derrick Henry?
Yeah. If I gave you a 5th-round pick, would you do it?
Oh, no.
No. So there's the mark right there.
Yeah, because 4th round, you at least make me think about it. If you go on 5th, you got to give me 5th and if you're talking about just 1 pick 4th round for the King.
Plus it's, what is it? Ravens, Browns.
I wrote down to people as we watch Seahawks. 4-2. They need somebody, another game breaker. What about the Panthers? I know they're not winning.
Yeah, I don't think you run a player at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you do it and extend him.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know, 30-year-old running back. You know what? I mean, that's the wall.
Yeah. And Saquon looks like what's going to happen with him. So, but there's a couple teams in the AFC, I hate to say, that are in that playoff conversation that could use a player like Derrick Henry. Just how much are you,
2 of them.
Yeah, how much are you willing to give up to get him?
Man, when Mac went to the Ravens, it was like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And D Mays, and then
Samari,
yeah, and now potentially Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that was just weird. Watching all those dudes.
Word around the campfire is, according to Adam Schefter, the Titans have told Derrick Henry they are not shopping him. So there is that.
But listen to what you said. They're not shopping him.
That's what he said.
They're not shopping him. They're not going around making calls like, what are you going to give me? But that didn't say we're not taking calls. We're not interested.
Right.
They did.
I played that little game this week because Ian Rappaport had the story. Will Levis will start on Sunday, according to reports, and will play the majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Vrabel then said later that day, I never said Will Levis would start. And I'm like, well, I never said that there were 2 buildings outside of our studio that I'm looking at right now. It doesn't mean they're not there because they are. I'm looking at them.
That's what I said. Sometimes you got to read between the lines, man.
Right?
Coach speak is real.
It's a brilliant thing to say.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you wanted Atlanta preparing for 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. And how do you prepare for what you don't know? Right? You can put Will Levis' name out there, and people are watching practice, have seen him taking reps probably, and so that conversation got out there from somebody, probably his agent, who, a lot of stuff comes from people's agents. But if I'm Atlanta, what am I going to base this off of? Kentucky? or that preseason game that we saw him play.
Did you take – I know you were at the game, so it's a different thing, and you were going through all this alumni stuff and all this stuff. But did you happen to take a look at what Atlanta was trying to do defensively? Were they – I was just – like when you watch the game for the first time, like in fan mode, like you watch the ball.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when I go back and watch it like later tonight or tomorrow morning, then I'll take a more detailed look. And now the NFL Network or NFL.com will put the All-22 up online, which is very helpful. But – I thought coming in they would probably stack the box and try to stop the run, and
they did that a bit, but not nearly enough.
And blitz Levis, which actually plays into his game with the play fake, with the strong arm. But
yeah, and I'm glad you asked me that because there was a few times I felt like it was straight up. It is what it is. There wasn't. You smell a rat, you smell a skunk, you see a skunk, play the skunk. That's kind of what they did, right? They brought people up. They showed their hand. Now you just got to kind of cipher through the mess and see who's coming. But they showed blitz. Wasn't a whole lot of disguising is what I'm getting at. Atlanta kind of showed their hand a lot of times, which makes it a lot easier for a guy to make decisions, meaning check, I don't have a good play for this, move my protections, whatever it may be.
And he was checking out of stuff.
He was doing stuff. And so
you could hear him on the TV copy.
So, I don't know if that's coaching malpractice on Atlanta or good film study from the Titans and Will Levis to understand that what they're trying to do. So watching the game, I was like, they're not even trying to disguise to trick him right now. Like show one coverage and rotate into another, bait him, put a guy in the hole when he's coming from the opposite side of the field or something to that effect to try to bait him into a throw. And then conversely, on the other side, what I liked what the Titans did, they had a good mix of drop back, quick game, and moving routes or moving pockets like boots, nakeds, and rollouts where they gave him some opportunities to get out the pocket and make throws. And you saw some like flash fakes where the pocket moves from right over center to over the guard, and he was able to make a couple big throws and things of that nature. And I thought that mix of play calling also played into his benefit, in which, and again, I could be wrong, but based on what happened the previous 5 games, I hadn't seen a whole lot of that. There's been periods of that. There's been flashes of that, but a consistent thing. So is that a product of Will Levis's game and how he managed the game, how he played today, and they were able to stay on script compared to what had been happening prior to? Or was it just them having a week off, another extra week to prepare, all the things for this game that everybody seemed to be on point? Because we're talking about Will Levis because of his game, and that's everybody across the country is going to be talking about it. It's going to be shared on ESPN, NFL shows.
All those talking head shows tomorrow morning.
But we're not talking about the defense played well.
Yeah.
We forget special teams played well, and that helps a young quarterback. And we're not talking about that because the quarterback plays so well.
Yep. Again, the most impressive thing for me about Will Levis was like his body language was confident from the jump. I mean, swagger. It never
like he'd been there already.
Yeah, it never looked too fast for him. Yeah. There was a play where they ran. It was short yardage play where Chig came in motion, and he snapped it with Chig coming in motion, faked it to his right, turned to his left, and handed it off.
I saw that play for Saturday, too. I was like, that's going to be good.
Yeah, and it got the first down. But, like, that's a lot of movement in a phone booth that needs to be precise, and he didn't rush it at all.
No, he had a good sense of what he was trying to accomplish, what Kelly was trying to accomplish. It's just –
Kelly was in rhythm.
He was.
For sure.
And the guys around him seemed to be in a rhythm. And, again, let me give the flowers to the offensive line.
Yep.
That's one of their better games.
Yep.
I mean, let's be real.
Maybe their best.
They might be. How many sacks did they have? Meaning, how many sacks did Atlanta have today?
I think 2 without – let me see.
2? And he got hit.
It was 2. One was a busted assignment.
Oh, yeah,
and the second
1-yard
one
loss
was late where which I thought was a beautiful decision by Levis, instead of rushing it on that 2-minute situation on third down where they tried to win the game with the play action. It just wasn't there, so he went down.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a veteran move, too.
It was just a player understanding the situation of the game and helping them out. So, really, we'll say 1 in the – really – because even like you said, that 1, it ended up being like a 1-year loss, so it counts as a sack in the book. It really wasn't like the offensive line, somebody just got blown up and beaten. he was in his face. So, and he got, I don't know how many quarterback hurries or hits he took today either, but it didn't seem like he was under duress a whole lot today. So, got to give credit there. That makes the game plan and the game management a whole lot easier when you can just be back there and play your game.
Right.
And
so what happens when there is havoc in the backfield?
How does he respond?
Right. Exactly.
But we know he can move, he can run. And that's one thing I will say about even Malik and Tannehill is when they are extending drives with their legs, we have seen that. And we haven't seen that with Will, but we all know he has the ability. But how does that look? What does that translate to as far as the game and managing it and going forward?
3 deep shots, too. 615-737-1045. Kenny the mailman. Kenny, what's up?
Hello, good friends. How are y'all doing?
Good.
How you doing, man?
I got a comment for you, but here's you a stat you need to hear. Joe Burrow is 22 of 25 with 20 straight completions.
Wow.
Is that not unbelievable? You can't do that in practice.
Against the 49ers, too.
Yes, one of the best defenses ever hit 17-10, and he's coming back out for more and grinning while he's doing it. It's like, oh, man. But this is Will Levis's first step, and I know we're all excited and everything. But one of the best things I saw today is every young quarterback thinks they have the greatest arm in the world, and they'll just throw it through the brick wall. There were 3 or 4 throws that he had to float in and rainbow. And it takes a while to learn that, so I appreciated seeing that.
Well, that's
have a great day.
Thank you, Kenny. That's a great point, too, because that's one of the things that they said that he was working on was the ability to thread the ball a little bit, to feather it a little bit. And he showed that today.
Yeah, and I think the difference of open in the National Football League and college is so dramatic. In the National Football League, open is literally a guy on your hip. You throw him the catch, if you will. You have to put it in a spot to give your guy an opportunity to make the play a lot of times. And that's throwing, quote-unquote, throwing a guy open because the guys are so good and they rarely get out of position. Big plays in the NFL happen a lot of times off of somebody made a mistake, falls down, miscommunication, missed tackles, or you get somebody in a one-on-one and my guy made the play to make it a big play. So very rarely do you see a lot of big plays. What I liked about what Will did today, he had good ball placement. His son was behind him, his arm strength, even the throws, like we said, leaning back, he threw 140 yards in the air, hit Traylon in the shoulder, and you're like, how'd that ball even get there? I didn't think it was going to get there. And then, of course, the touchdown to NWI there at the end. But
beautiful throw.
Yeah, so – yeah, again, we're singing his praises, and rightfully so. He had a phenomenal game. He deserves it. And we would be saying this if this was his 7th career start. But the fact that it was his first career start and it looked like that speaks volumes. And it makes you excited for the potential of his future here with Tennessee Titans, whether it's this season, next season, or 2 seasons from now, which remains to be seen. But I think it's the latter. It's probably going to be sooner than later. But whatever time that is, it makes you excited about his potential.
Right. And when you think about the big picture, because Jacksonville has their young guy, clearly. Houston has their young guy. Indianapolis drafted their young guy. He's out for the season. And now maybe Tennessee is caught up.
It may be.
That was a concern before today's performance. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical problems. They can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit LeeCompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. More of your reaction. Titans win 28-23. This is the Lee Company Titans Talkback. Yo, welcome in, Lee Company. Titans Talkback. Titans win 28-23 over the Atlanta Falcons. They get to 3-4. Jacksonville in first place in the AFC South at 6-2. Titans tied for second with Houston at 3-4. Houston dropped their game today with Carolina. Panthers with a field goal at the buzzer, so to speak, to win 15-13. So Houston now 3-4. Also, Indy lost today too. Indianapolis now 3-5 and in last place. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Brent Dougherty, the Dr. Kevin Dyson with you, taking your reaction, offering ours as we roll through this edition of Lee Company Titans Talkback. We'll be with you until 6:30, so we've got another hour and 10 minutes for you. Lines have been loaded the entire time that we have been on the air. We appreciate your feedback for sure. That's why we're here. 615-737-1045. Iceland in Nashville. Iceland, what's up?
I'm excited. I was impressed with Will. It reminds me of the movie, Remember the Titans? You remember when the quarterback got hurt and then Sunshine came
Sunshine.
And they said, we have us a quarterback.
So,
I was kind of disappointed about the booing of Malik because a lot of times it's not his fault, and he does need some more coaching. But to boo him, I just didn't like that. But
I really don't think the booing was for him personally. I think the booing was for, maybe I'm wrong, I think the booing was for the decision to put Will Levis on the sideline when he had a hot hand.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No.
But I get it.
Is she still on?
Iceland, you still there?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. I've been a season ticket member since '99, so I'm excited. I'm excited for it. So
Good.
I just wanted to tell y'all, let's go Titans.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go, Iceland.
It's always a happy time when you win. You know what I mean? It just for however long it lasts, it's a lot. It just that feeling.
Do you think I'm way off on that? Like that they weren't. I don't think you were there. I don't think people were booing Malik Willis per se. More so the decision to put him in.
That's how I'm going to spin it.
I'm not trying to spin.
I think everybody was just so excited about the potential
About
of
Will.
Levis, and they wanted him in the game.
Yeah.
That they're like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I don't. Again, I to your point, I don't necessarily know if it was Malik they were booing as opposed to why are you doing this?
The decision.
Yeah, just leave the guy in. You know what I mean? Because they were excited about him. I mean, he got as much of a roar of a cheer as the King did.
I know this. I know like former athletes. So Slay, for example, I work with every day. And when they mentioned we're going to play both, Slay was like, he just immediately started shaking his head. Like you don't necessarily, I think like athletes, and you can speak to this, don't want to be looking over their shoulder because you want to be able to play free, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to play free when you're worried about making a mistake.
Yeah.
So coaches all the time say, let it rip. Well, how am I going to let it rip if I'm coming out if I throw a pick?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And again, they were saying one thing to the media and putting that narrative out, but in the facilities and the practice and the meeting film and the reps in practice, they were telling a different story.
Yeah, I know.
I saw that Saturday. I literally saw him take 98% of the reps on offense. And I was like, well, he's starting and he's playing the whole game. And again, they may have something, and they did it 2 times with him in the game, but other than that, it was like you knew who was going to be the man today.
A buddy of mine just texted me. It sounded like in the building they were booing Willis. By the way, Jackson found an incredible stat from Next Gen, right, Jackson? So in his first career start, this is the tweet from Next Gen. In his first career start, Will Levis threw 3 of the 10 longest touchdown passes by air distance this season in the NFL. 3 of the 10.
Yeah.
Think about how many games have been played in the NFL and the level of quarterback that's out there in these high-octane offenses.
He has 3 of the 10 longest.
3 of the 10. So the 47-yard touchdown to D-Hop traveled 56.1 yards in the air. That's the 4th longest in the NFL this season. So that's from where he released the ball to where it was caught. 33-yard touchdown to Nick Westbrook-Akine, 55.2 yards in the air. That was 5th longest in the NFL this season. And the 61-yard touchdown to D-Hop traveled actually 51.7 yards in the air, which is the 8th longest. So he's really got 3 of the top 8 in the NFL this season in terms of air travel. Look, we knew he had a gun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But he gave guys opportunity. He gave guys opportunities to make plays too. That's what that tells me.
And it makes you wonder, like, because Titans have only hit, I can only think of a couple of deep balls. And they really haven't tried.
Mm-mm.
So it makes me wonder, how gun-shy Tannehill has been this season and that the routes are there. He just doesn't think he has time to look.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't have time to look.
Because as you're talking, I'm trying to think of. I know they've tried. You just
They
don't
had the
remember.
70-yarder to Burks, remember?
Yeah, vaguely. Golly, that seems like forever ago.
Which turned that game around. That was a Charger game, right?
Yeah,
I think.
Chargers.
Yep. Outside of that, I don't remember.
I don't remember anybody else. Do we have nothing in New Orleans? I don't remember anything else. Colts? Anything?
I will say this. So now there's tape on Will Levis, and we were talking about that.
Yeah.
The Steelers have tape on him. They have a short week.
Yeah.
But they have a pass rusher.
Yeah.
But what they also have on tape is Will Levis's willingness to throw the deep ball.
Yeah.
Which is not something that is in, the game plan when you look at the Titans previous to him this season.
I think what they're going to say is we're going to make it hard for him. And I'm not saying Atlanta didn't, because maybe the offensive line just did that much of a great job protecting him and made it easy for him to be back there and make plays, but they're going to try to make him uncomfortable. I need to see what you can do, young guy, and let me see. Now,
does that mean more two high safety looks?
I think you mix your coverage up. You show one and end up in two. You show two, end up in one.
Those deep balls today were all man-to-man situations.
Single coverage, single high safety. But I think you mix some things up. I think you show some blitzes. You do some games up front. You create some havoc up front, get hands in his face. How does he respond to that? It's a primetime game. It's going to be super cold in Pittsburgh coming off that. Oh, man. There's a lot of different factors. It's a perfect fall football game weather today. Crowd was into it. They're excited to see you. It just was tailor-made for him to have success. Now, traveling on a short week, got to flip it right back around. You're traveling. That takes a day of preparation out of it. There's just a whole lot of different variables to this game that will get I want to say you get a truer sense of his ability, but it'll be a different look than what you had today when he had 2 weeks of being in the driver's seat, getting a lot of reps, a lot of film study, extra time at home. You know what I mean? There's just all those things you might not think they make that big of a deal, but that is a big deal.
So right now in Nashville, it's 74 degrees. Okay. The low tonight is 46. The high tomorrow is 49. That leads me to believe that the high temperature will be at midnight or shortly thereafter, and the temps will just continue to fall to 30 for the low tomorrow night. 74 right now. 30 is the low tomorrow night. I'm going to look up Pittsburgh. What is that environment like up there?
Man, it is fun. They are all in.
Kern told me the wind swirls.
Oh, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Baltimore
yep.
Off that water. It's just the breeze. It's chilly. And, that is a franchise that's been around for ages, and they're loyal to the end. How many families have owned the team? How many head coaches have actually been in the coaching box? They're just a loyal to the end fan base and organization. They're traditionally always going to be a solid defensive team. That's just what they have been for however many years, going back to way back to Jack Lambert and all those guys, man, and Will and Shell. I mean, just so many dudes just come to mind. Just remember the commercial, the Pepsi commercial with the hey kid and gave him the jersey. I remember just Steelers just being just who they are. And I loved going up there and playing, man. The environment just makes it fun, especially when you beat them.
Those rally tiles going on and all of it.
All of it. And my rookie year, of course, we were in the same division at the time. Baltimore, of course, the whole division, but Baltimore, Pittsburgh week, man, they were just different weeks, man. It just, you got a sense of it real quick with the veterans, it's a different type of preparation. It's almost like game speed on practice day, man. It's okay, we're playing Pittsburgh this week. So it means something.
So Pittsburgh, Thursday, the high is 49 degrees, the low is 31. So it's going to be a cold day. Will Levis, in case you didn't know, grew up in Madison, Connecticut. He played at Penn State, which is an interesting thing, too. I kind of wonder, who he grew up rooting for as a kid.
Well, I wonder what he was going to say. Is he a Steelers fan?
I don't know. But he played at Penn State. Oh, Patriots is what Jackson said. Patriots
fan.
Okay. That makes sense. Like it's all
Yeah, I
jumbled.
guess, yeah.
It's all jumbled up in the Northeast. Like I don't know, but he did go to Penn State. Then he transferred to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Then he was the first pick of the second round, and then he did what he did today: 19-29, 238 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Here's the thing, Will Levis: no matter whatever happens in your career, nobody can take today away from you, bro.
I came out. It was a star on my first start.
Rifleman, baby.
Yeah, man.
615-737-1045.
Right quick sidebar.
Yeah.
Everybody's down on these Jets and my boy Wilson. Look at Zach Wilson. Go ahead and got another win.
Oh, they won in overtime. I didn't even notice that.
Another win.
Against the Giants.
I mean,
big
but still,
rivalry.
big rivalry.
No,
but
big
it's a
rivalry.
win. It's a win. I mean, again, I'm saying that to say the sidebar is, man, you can't count anybody out in this league, man. People get in rhythms. They find things that work, and they just find ways to win football games. And if you got solid defense behind you, you can do some things, man. And they got a solid defense.
The Jets are 4-3 now. How about that?
And it was, 3 of the last 4, I think. So
in ugly ways, but they do it.
They winning.
Their defense is legit. Dude.
Yep, I'm telling you.
All right, good sidebar there. Appreciate you, Dice. 615-737-1045. Titan Hugo next up. Titan Hugo, what's up? Yo, Hugo.
Hey, what's up, man? Houston, Texas here.
Yo.
Man, y'all had me on hold for an hour, man. I'm a Titan fan.
Dude, we got
Don't do
7
that.
lines on hold. I'm doing the best I can, bro.
No, but I'm gonna say, hey, but doesn't this QB change remind you of Tannehill when he got the start?
Kind of
when
does.
we went that run to the AFC Championship.
Right.
It's starting to remind me of that.
You know what's funny about that? They were 2-4 when that happened.
Was it really?
Yep.
Yeah, and then another thing, speaking of 2 and 4,
17 for 8.
Speaking of 2 and 4, we ordered uniforms today. 1993, Oilers were I think 1-4 and went on that run, but lost to the Chiefs in the divisional playoff.
Yeah, Joe Montana.
So yeah, I mean, this could be a run that hey, don't give up, don't trade Henry, don't trade D-Hop. Hey, don't give up on this run, man. We got something here. We got something with Levis.
Thank you, bro.
Let's run it.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
There's no
Line
way.
up.
Hey, man. There's no way I would trade DeAndre Hopkins.
He's not
now.
going anywhere.
No.
I think the only, I'd say only, there's probably 2, maybe 3 people that are still in conversation that have that of value where you might be able to add some picks for the future. Derrick Henry being the main one. Danico Archery being
Danico
another.
Archery. I don't know that I'll let him go either.
I wouldn't either. I mean, but that's personal. I mean, I wouldn't let either one of them go. But that's my personal feeling. But I also understand the business side of things and trying to build for the future. And if you're looking at your future, if you're talking to Rand, he's out there in the booth watching that game today. Him and Amy Adams, they're sitting there watching the game. They're like, okay, that quarterback, whether it's this year or next, that's our guy. What can we do to help him? Well, one of the things is you can solidify that offensive line. One way to do that is through free agency or the draft. And you don't know where you're going to end up as far as this year's draft, but if I can stack some picks to give me some depth on the offensive line, that's a conversation you need to be having with variables and everything else, right? You got an extra 5th and a 6th already, but are those guys you're looking to be starters or depth at that point? So now you're talking, okay, value. Derrick Henry and money, with his contract being up after this season, and there's no talks of extension, at least that we're aware of. There may be, but we're not aware of them. But we're making the assumption there's no talks of extension. Would you let a guy of his caliber go just like, oh, your time is up, no contract, bye, have a good one? Or do you try to get something out of it? Do you try to get some value out of it? And that's the conversation I'm sure they're having. They got 2 days to decide. And you talking the Ravens. I would say the Bills probably interested.
Bills, Browns, Ravens.
Yep.
You mentioned Seahawks.
Seahawks probably. I mean, shoot.
It'll be interesting.
It'd be interesting to see. Yep. I mean, this is far-fetched, but could you even see the Chiefs utilizing him?
Yeah, we were talking about trades this week, and somebody was like, this ain't baseball. I'm like, dude, this is the new NFL.
Yeah.
They are letting more and more players get into that last year of that deal where they become rental players.
Yeah.
And so you are seeing more trades.
Yep.
Like Minnesota, for example, Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles today. They're 4-4. They're not cashing it in.
No.
They signed Colt McCoy a couple weeks ago, but is he a playoff quarterback? No.
Mm-mm.
So do they go out and get Tannehill? What do the Jets do at 4-3? They're gonna roll with what they got.
Yeah.
Or do they bring in a piece?
Because he's winning. And the cousin piece is very similar in the aspect of Derrick Henry and contract and extension. So you can say, well, this is a perfect time to cut that tie and go move on, go to the next guy.
When's the last time we could – I mean, Jackson had the answer. It was January in the 2021 season. But, do you remember an offense over here where wide receivers were running open and deep balls were being completed just all over the field? The Falcons had to be sitting there thinking, like, we didn't see this on tape. What?
Well,
I mean, I know we haven't seen Will Levis, but we haven't seen this out of the framework of this offense either in a couple of years.
I think it goes back to the offensive line play. I think you create one-on-one matchups by blitzing as much as you do because you don't think they can protect. And you think you're going to be able to get it to the quarterback. But when they protect it now, it's hard to cover guys in one-on-one as football league. I don't care if you think they're a B-list or C-list receiver versus an A corner. Sometimes in this league, guys are just so talented and quarterbacks are so good, and you put that ball up, a 6'4" receiver, man, he's going to make plays for you. And that, in essence, looks like what Atlanta was doing was bringing pressure and didn't think the Titans line can hold up. Now, if you're the number 3 ranked defense going against the number 31 ranked offense, I think whatever it is,
30.
You think you're going to win that matchup, and with the rookie quarterback?
Yeah, we're going to get after him.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so the guys got the one-on-ones that they wanted, did some crossing things, and he was able to stand and deliver, and they made plays.
Stand and deliver. Didn't blink, man. 615-737-1045. 615-737-1045. We're going to take as many phone calls as we can. Is this Deg in Nashville, Jackson? Hey, Deg, what's up?
How you doing, guys? I just wanted to let you know that we needed a spark, and today we got a spark.
Yeah.
I watched a bunch of Titans games, both home and away, and I don't know where the spark was going to come from, but I had a feeling it was Will Levis. And credit to the line. It was a clean game from what I saw as far as the penalties go, but it seemed like that last second that I used to watch Tannehill just either go down or get sacked, that last second is when Levis would release the ball, and dang it was on time every time. So you'd be surprised what the spark's going to do for your offense, especially in the AFC when you need that dual threat quarterback who can get you 5 yards if you need 5 yards.
Yep.
So I was happy to see that today. I've been a Will Levis fan from the signing day. So tighten up. Thank you guys for taking my call.
Appreciate it, Dag. A couple other things with regard to Levis. He was hitting guys in stride too, which as a receiver, that's what you want, man. I want to be able to catch the ball and go.
And run.
And then there were a couple of times where he threw it low and away.
Yeah.
One to Chig where Chig made a great catch.
Yeah.
But Levis threw it in a place where he had to throw it and hope his guy would make a great catch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I don't want to keep saying that he's the next Peyton Manning or anything like that, but there were so many things that we saw right with his game plan. But I'm going to say it again. You got to give that credit to the offensive line, and I'm going to give credit to Kelly for the game plan that he had. I saw a lot of things across Levis's face where it was easy for him to have the reads and scanning the field and things of that nature. And he had calculated shots where you said you call it a pump or a double go or whatever you want to chop and go, whatever route you want to call it. And that's your main read, and if he wins, that's where you're going. So he gave him some plays that we can take some shots and win. Whereas, as you mentioned, it's almost like Tannehill wasn't able to take the time because he had guys in his face, didn't take the time because he's worried about getting hit, or didn't take the time because it took too long to develop. But today, for whatever reason, Will Levis was able to stand and deliver and make those big plays. And so hopefully that trend continues. But I'm trying to be optimistic and say let's pump our brakes because that's one sample size and it's a great one. I hope everybody understands. Yes, that was a great sample size. However, there's a lot of different defenses in the National Football Leagues of different matchups. You can play the number 32 defense in the National Football League and they come out there and get 8 sacks against you. We saw that against Arizona. Was that last year? And they got all those sacks the first game. And I think they ended the season with just 8 sacks. They all 8 against us. No, I'm kidding. But it seemed like that's how whatever reason, we didn't match up against that team that well that day. And we gave that guy a career day.
I think it's easy to get excited when you see, as you said earlier, like rookie debuts from quarterbacks don't go well a lot of times.
They don't.
And we've seen 10 games with Malik Willis that look nothing like this one game today.
We've seen flashes, but nothing consistent like this. Yeah.
All day. I've got something that may take everybody over the top in terms of excitement about Will Levis when we come back. Stay tuned. Lee Company, Titans Talkback.
Another monkey wrench.
Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Brent Dougherty, Kevin Dyson, more next on 104.5 The Zone. 3HL coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, I was like, dang.
Coming up tomorrow.
I know we've been on here for a while. We already.
Yeah, we have been here a while. Mike Keith at 420 on 3HL and Nick Westbrook-Akine at 5 o'clock. Coming up tomorrow. This is Lee Company. Titans Talkback. Here you go, Jackson. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Brent Dougherty, Kevin Dyson.
Will Levis.
How much fun was that today?
Man, it was fun.
Right?
It's always fun to watch them win.
But to have explosive plays.
And be competitive.
Yeah.
And
2-score lead in the fourth quarter.
It wasn't a roller coaster game either of emotions. You know what I mean? It was just a good, solid played football game which, you didn't feel like they ever going to lose grip of it. Then
even though Atlanta had the ball at the end with a chance to win, but I still didn't think I thought they were good.
You had that sense of, oh, here we go again. It just felt like a good, solid, clean, played football game, man. Again, we're talking about Will Levis, but kudos to the coaching staff, getting the guys prepared to play. The offensive line, oh man, they've taken a brutal beating this year as far as
they played well, man.
As far as commentary and criticism, they played well today. And as you mentioned earlier, they had to adjust on the fly. Their offensive line. And so
Hubbard with the concussion, Nick Westbrook-Akine, Nicholas, the other guy.
Yeah.
With 3 names, Nicholas Petit-Frere. Has to go back to right tackle, and Dillard comes back in at left tackle, and it was pretty seamless. It looked like at first look. Yeah.
So it was just a good team effort. We hadn't really talked about it. The special teams had the early extension of the drive with the fake punt, big return. It was just a good, solid, played football game from the Tennessee Titans. So hopefully they can springboard them to something special for the rest of the year, get on a run here, win 5-6 games in a row, and now we're talking about, okay, playoffs. But right now, just enjoy this one, and tomorrow morning it's off to work for the Steelers, man.
It is, in fact. Lee Company, Titans Talkback, 615-737-1045. By the way, DeAndre Hopkins, 4 receptions, 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. His second 100-yard game as a Titan. That is only the second time in his career that he has caught 3 touchdown passes in a game. How about that?
I still like the second one the best. The spin, the drive route behind him a little bit, caught it.
Behind him. Spin at the goal line.
He showed some young legs right there, boss.
He was moving, too.
Yeah.
615-737-1045, which really isn't his game, but he did have a little separation. Enough there, that's for sure. All right, Greg is in Rhode Island. Greg, what's up?
What's up, guys? Listen, the cat is out of the bag. The mayonnaise is out of the jar. You cannot go back to Tannehill. What he showed today, he almost broke a franchise record if he threw another touchdown to D-Hop. And it wasn't just that he got the yards. There was explosives. We saw something we haven't seen maybe since Steve McNair.
No, I think that's a good point because I think now when you study the Titans, you have to look at them differently offensively. Yeah. It's not just plodding, run the ball between the tackles.
Trying to be methodical
for 4 yards and pick up the third and short first down.
Yeah, they took advantage of a kid's arm, if you will, his arm strength, his ability to throw the ball vertically. I get it. And the question was asked, would we go back to Tannehill at this point? And if we were in it, I think it's still circumstantial. There's still something to say about a veteran who has seen and done everything. But Tannehill hasn't been playing at the same level that he had once. There seems to be a different type of emotion in him or lack thereof. I don't know, but maybe this sparks him a little bit. Maybe
you think it pushes him to get back quicker?
Maybe. Yeah. Because maybe he didn't have nobody pushing him. We kind of said that same kind of sentiment with Mariota. Like, having a guy like Tannehill would push him. Well, it didn't. And then Tannehill came in, and then he became the man that he was for 2.5 seasons, and now we're seeing a little bit of a struggle as far as getting the offense to be productive and score points. Some of that is changing of offensive coordinators 2 times and trying to work with different philosophies and things of that nature. So it's not completely just on Tannehill. The offensive line has been makeshift. I don't know how many offensive lines he's been under since he's been the starter. I'm not giving him an excuse or by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying if all apples are not the same. We're comparing apples to oranges in a lot of respects. And so do you just discard a veteran that you invested a lot of money in based off of 1-game performance?
Right. So, the Titans reportedly tried to move into the first round to get Will Levis. Then he becomes a Will Levis first-round contract guy, which is bigger money.
Yeah.
Second round.
Speaks a lot of volumes.
Second round, not so much.
Right.
So first pick of the second round, you actually, if and we talked about this when they drafted him, if he becomes the guy and quickly, that's where you can set up a window to go spend a ton of money on other positions where you don't have a ton of money wrapped up in your quarterback position.
Yeah. What's his
Cincinnati did it with Joe Burrow.
What's he, like a 3-4 year deal? Probably second round? Well,
4-year deal, but they don't get the option on the 5th year. And that's where first rounders really make their money if they're great.
If they're great, yeah. So you're right. Again, we're talking business side of it and the investment aspect of it. You got what, 2 years left, and after this one for Tannehill, and it's 20. What do you say? 23?
No. He's in the last year of his deal.
Tannehill is.
Yep. Tannehill and Derrick Henry are in the last year of
Are
their
they?
deal.
I thought it was just so. Ooh. Well, that changes perspective.
I think they drafted Will Levis to do exactly what he's doing right now.
So it might be what you said earlier. Like, hey, just go ahead and get your ankle right. We'll be all right.
Think about Rand Carthon with Skoronski in the first round, Will Levis in the second round, Tajay Spears,
yeah,
in the second round. I do it like once a week. I mean, I know it's early, but those look like 3 like long-term big like hit picks in your top
and you're talking about it at bargain prices because they're in their first contracts. So, I think football starts up front. And if you get consistent play up front like they did today, Will Levis can be successful like he was. But if they struggle, as they had a lot of times this year, we're going to see some ups and downs with him. And then that becomes, how does he respond to that? And that's what we're waiting to see, because I think this week's test, not that I think Atlanta would be a test for the offensive line, but we'll see with Blitzburg and how they do things, and having one of the best defensive linemen in the game. I think he's the reigning defense player of the year and everything, right? I think he won it last year. I was about to say J.J. Watt, but T.J. Watt, and see how they hold up with one of the best. And again, if I'm Will Levis, I'm mindful of where that dude is. I'm looking for number 90 every time I come out the huddle. I'm gonna see where he's at.
Guess what Will Levis is making next year, the year after, and the year after. You ready?
You're gonna say like $560,000.
No, not quite that, but 2024, $1.1 million.
Okay.
That's next year.
Okay.
If he's like your starter and a great player, he's making $1.1 million.
Yeah.
2025, 1.6.
Okay.
2026, 2.0.
He'll have a new deal. If he's a starter by then, he's playing well. Before he gets to that one, they'll extend. They'll give him a deal.
Right, but you will have him at 2024 and 2025 like that, where you can go spend a ton of money elsewhere. And by the way the Titans are set up right now, they will have the second most cap availability next year out of any team in the league. Rand's trying to build it.
Hey,
that was the first thing I heard when he came here. That the goal number one was to cleanse the money.
Yeah.
Like,
and
he's done it.
Now you talk about trade again. Are you talking about getting rid of Derrick Henry? No, I'm just kidding.
Here we go. 615-737-1045. Tony in Nashville is next up on Lee Company Titans Talkback. Tony, what's up?
What's up? Everything's good today.
Yo, Tony.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like May said, man, we need to pump the brakes. Today was a great day, no doubt about it. Will Levis done some great things out there on that field. That was good. But let's just put some things in perspective here. He threw for 4 touchdowns. Somebody alluded to that Mariota did the same thing.
Yep, the only other player in NFL history to
but
do
where
what
is he
Will
at
Levis
now?
did. I know, exactly. I get it.
Then the next thing is he threw for 4 touchdowns. One of them shouldn't have been a touchdown. I'm glad we got it, but it shouldn't have been a touchdown because what's his name? I forget his name.
DeAndre
the wide
Hopkins?
receiver we just got. Right. Man, he put a headlock on that dude and
but
literally threw it.
To be fair, though, Tony,
threw him out of bounds.
He had been headlocked all the way on that route until the very end. I think that's why there was no call.
Yeah, but now once they get into the mode, this next game coming up, now we're gonna see how much heart he got. Because you don't see whether a quarterback is really at till they get knocked around some. See, he ain't been knocked around. And Atlanta's line wasn't all that good today, defensive line. And I'm glad we got that, and I hope that it can continue. I really do. But man, let's take it slow. Let's take it a day at a time. Because like May said, yeah, everybody's jumping up and down, turning flips, cartwheels, all that stuff. But when he started getting knocked around, he throw the ball to somebody else a couple of times. The party's over.
I got you, Tony. Thank you, man. We also gave him plenty of love when we first came on the air. We're talking about this in a circular motion for Will Levis.
Yes.
And I think the best way that we could explain it earlier, that I think we found to explain it, is I think we know that the ceiling is high now. You don't know where the floor is.
Yeah.
Because of some of what Tony was saying, it was, and what we said earlier, it was a clean pocket today.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you got Watt coming at you next week.
And that's different.
Now,
and
the Falcons defense, as you keep saying, number 3 in the NFL. It's not like they went out there and played Hillsborough High School.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
It's still an NFL defense and one of the best NFL defense in the league right now from a yards per game perspective. But I'll say this. We got to keep everything in perspective, right? It's just one game.
That's right.
But it's exciting because that one game was so good. And again, if we remember correctly, when Tannehill came in just one game, it was, oh my gosh, here we go. It was exciting. So, but how does he respond when it's not to his favor? I'm excited about the potential of the young guy. I like what he did today. I think it starts again up front. And if the offensive line can find some continuity and stay healthy, that's going to go hand in hand with his success rate. And if they're in and out of the lineup and things of that nature, you're going to see him having some peaks and valleys. And you just hope that the valleys are not that deep.
Yeah.
And that's what you hope.
To both of y'all's point, TJ Watt, super. Now, Atlanta's defense, really, really good. Pittsburgh defense, really, really good.
Yeah.
The one difference is, now, I will say this. I didn't hear Calais Campbell's name today.
No, we did not.
He had 2 sacks last week against Tampa Bay.
I forgot he was on the roster till you said that because we didn't hear his name.
He had 2 sacks last week.
Yeah.
He did recover a fumble, yes. Thank you, Jackson. TJ Watt, 2nd in the NFL in sacks with 8. So he's going to bring it. Hunter at Minnesota has 9. He leads. So it'll be a challenge. We got plenty of time to talk about it, and we'll do it all day long on the zone. But we are here, me and the doctor, Kevin Dyson, until 6:30. More Titans Talkback. Lee Company, Titans Talkback next. Keep it coming. What's your reaction? Titans win 28-23. Lee Company Titans Talkback. Brent Dougherty, the Dr. Kevin Dyson with you until 6:30. The Sunday night games coming up. Westwood 1 coverage begins right here on 104.5 The Zone. Jackson, do you know which game we have tonight? He's checking.
Chargers, Bears.
How about that? Chargers are a 9.5-point favorite against the Chicago Bears.
That's about right. You taking that one? You taking a 9.5?
No, I'm staying away from that.
You taking the Bears then?
I mean, I love Justin Herbert, but I've kind of come off on them. And the Bears have a rookie quarterback, with a primetime game. So, by the way, you were like, we were sitting here watching Cincinnati and San Francisco, and the 49ers are trying to lose their third straight game after everybody anointed them Super Bowl champs. They're down 24-17. The Bengals lead by 7. Joe Burrow, 28 of 32, 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. Had at least 20 consecutive completions. Is that right, Jackson? Yeah. I think that's what Jackson said earlier. Also, the Chiefs are losing to the Broncos 21-9. So the NFL is so crazy, man. I mean, how did the Patriots beat the Bills? But the Patriots are 2-6.
2-6. But it goes to show you don't go off of record. Sometimes it's about matchups, right? You can take an 0-for team versus a undefeated team, and their matchups just don't align to what your strengths are. And before you know it, you're in a dogfight with a team you should beat, and then that old momentum kicks in one way or the other, and you're like, dang, we couldn't get by them. And then I'm going to say this, and whether you're in high school sports, even Little League, pro sports, it's hard to win them all. It is hard to win them all. It's hard to be at your optimum every single night. It's just, and football is probably even harder. Well, basketball too, because you play so many games. But in football, 1 week is 1 week a game, right? And it's still that hard. Health is a part of that equation. The climate becomes part of the equation as we're talking about playing in cold climates and watching some of these cold games going on. Matchups, things of that nature. Just there's a lot that goes into the long season. So NFL, when you talk about free agency and drafts and things of that nature, it's pretty balanced. It's usually a pretty close to being a one-possession game in all the games. You don't see blowouts all the time. Now, you see them from time to time. That's why, like you said, you stay away from NFL. College games, you can kind of say, yeah, they're gonna beat them. But
I think the data points are easier to figure out in college than the NFL. So, when you throw $10, $15 on games on Saturday and you're like, oh, I had a great day. And then you get to Sunday and you're like, wait, how did that happen?
Yeah. Because I think if I'm remembering right, wasn't San Fran like a 9-point favorite?
5-point favorite.
5-point favorite of this game.
And what's interesting is a lot of the public money was on Cincinnati. So a lot of times when you look at that, you may go the other way. I didn't bet the game.
Should have bet money line on that one.
Yeah, 31-17, Cincinnati with the lead now.
Again, and Burrow looking like that dude again, I'm saying.
Yep, 2:54 to go in that football game. We'll talk about the matchup with the Steelers as we roll through this half hour. No breaks until 6:30. So you've got us, Brent Dougherty, Kevin Dyson. Again, Titans with the 28-23 win today over the Atlanta Falcons at Nissan Stadium. Those Oilers throwbacks were sweet.
Oh, man. I never got a chance to wear the blue ones. We were white on white every week. I wanted to wear that blue so bad. I ordered some for my family and everything. I ordered both white and blue, but I wanted to wear them blue ones so bad, man. That was sweet. They look good today, bro.
They did.
I liked it. Everybody, all the old heads talking about us being them uniforms. I wish I could have worn them. And of course, the old heads I say old heads because I'm an old head now too, so I can say that. But all the ones that actually played for the Oilers in the old Astrodome, you listen to some of their conversations and stuff, man. It was cool to listen to them talk about it, man. Some of the old times.
Good to see Warren Moon out there, Billy White Shoes Johnson.
Yeah, man.
It was cool. Titans now 3-4. They are tied for second in the AFC South behind Jacksonville at 6-2, tied with Houston at 3-4. Indianapolis lost today. They're 3-5.
Yeah.
615-737-1045.
You know what? If you would have said, I think this is right where most people would have lined this division up. They would have said Jacksonville was a classic division. Titans would probably be that next one. And then depending on how it goes between the other two, I thought maybe with the rookie quarterbacks, depending on who's playing better, would be 3-4. So it's aligning kind of like what everybody kind of
I just didn't think
anyway.
Jacksonville would run away, like 6-2.
Yeah,
I mean, that's tough. So the Titans are in second, but they're 2.5 games back. They do have both games against Jacksonville. They've only played one divisional game, so
Yeah.
there is time. And now, like, if you found something at quarterback, I mean, that's a season changer, game changer, franchise changer for the next however many years. I mean, if that really is what we saw today.
Assuming you still have the running back, but that's a whole nother conversation.
I mean, so I told you this before. Greg Cosell, who works NFL films for 44 years, he just analyzes tape, and he's amazing at it. He said they tell you who they are moving forward by how they draft. So they draft a running back in the 4th round last year. They draft a running back in the 3rd round this year. And I'm like, okay, so they're setting up a conglomerate running back style, like a lot of these NFL teams, where they're not dumping a ton of money into one running back. It's like, that's what it looks like.
Yep. And you drafted a quarterback in successive years in the 2nd round.
Who's only going to make $1.8 million next year?
Yeah. And Will Levis, I'm assuming, is way less than that. I don't think he got the 1st round kind of deal.
He didn't get the 1st round deal. No, Will Levis will be 1.8 next year, and then up to 2 in 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, you're not spending any money at quarterback once you get rid of Tannehill.
Yep, still cheap. So, it's trending.
Money's there for them to go get players.
And go get players and do it from draft and, like you said, some free agents, some key free agents. Our assumption is probably some secondary things. Now, especially you lose your general back there, some safety, maybe some corner help, offensive line. You got to probably re-sign a couple guys on the defensive line. Big Jeff is locked down. You just got that one. That's huge. He was disrupted today.
Oh man, what a day!
He's still, he makes everybody else around him better. And as long as those guys can be productive around him, because he's going to draw the attention, their D line is going to be substantially productive because of him.
6 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss for Big Jeff.
Yeah. Because he makes everybody around him better.
The one play when Bijan Robinson looked like he escaped to the right, and like he was going to have some room, and Big Jeff could only get like his elbows to hands on him, and he pushed him
5
all the way
yards
through the sideline.
I saw that.
Like a big brother and a little brother?
Man, that's a grown man, dog. That's a grown man.
That was funny. One of the things you said you were interested in today was, and we talked about it a little bit earlier because I certainly was too, but Will Levis at the line of scrimmage. As a rookie in his first game, and he was checking out of plays. He was helping with line calls, identify the middle linebacker, all of those things. How impressive as a former player were you in that?
What it tells me is he's a professional and already. And when I'm saying that, and people are like, oh, he's a professional, blah, blah, blah. No, what I mean is he was watching the game when he wasn't playing. He was taking mental reps, and you can tell that that's what he is. Yeah, of course, you're watching film and you watch specifically this defense, and when you see something that looks familiar to you, you move your puzzle pieces around to get yourself in a better situation. And again, but it's the stuff prior to, because some of these plays are the same plays that have been running already. So he's all ready to say, okay, here's the alignment, here's the moving of the defense, their line this way. Let me get my guys in front of me in position to be able to block this or protect that. And he was able to do those things. That's why I was super impressed with him today, because I felt like it didn't look like a rookie unsure of it, standing up like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? He was just like, boom, I got it.
So right.
He
That's
just
what stood
moved
out.
Yeah,
he looked
man.
like a veteran. He was calm.
Yep.
He was in charge. He was confident.
Yep.
He had swagger.
Yep.
His body language was like, focused. I've been here before. I got this.
Yeah. Even
That's
if he made the wrong call, we wouldn't have known it. You know what I'm saying? Because he looked like it was the right call, whatever he did. Yeah. But that's why, man, I think my hats off to him, right? And I guess I keep trying to temper this conversation with him saying, but it's only one game. But I hate that I have to do that, because like people start getting you on film. They may go back to his Kentucky days and say, what did he struggle with? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. This is what he was struggling with. They'll call coaches. They'll call D coordinators at Georgia, at Tennessee, and all these people they know across the SEC, and say, hey, how'd you trick him up? How'd you trip him up? That's what these coaches do, man. This is a communication age. They will find ways to gain an advantage on a guy and figure it out, and that's coming.
Crazy NFL. 2-5 Denver. up 21-9 on 6-1 Kansas City.
Beating a brace off of them, man.
Well, watch Mahomes get sacked by his own guy right here. Boom. 615-737-1045. All right, let's roll through some calls, y'all. Bo in Old Hickory. Bo, what's up? Yo, Bo.
Yo, George, Willie, I got 4 letters for you. Let's yo. Hey, check it out now. It's a great time to be a resident of the great city of Nashville, Tennessee. Couple, 3 things here. First of all, Nashville has a new mayor. Nashville has a new mayor. Murfreesboro, sadly, doesn't have a new mayor. The mayor of Murfreesboro has moved on, but that's okay because, back me up here, D-Mace, black folks ain't really down with pride anyways. Franklin kept it.
Good Lord. What in the world was that?
What's he talking about?
Number one, George and Willie aren't here. Kevin Dyson's here, not D-Mace. The rest of that crap, dude, take it somewhere else, man. Blueface in Nashville. Blueface, what's up?
Hey, let's go, guys. What a win, man. Hey, look good, play good, right?
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Boy, they look good, and they play good.
I live by that premise, man.
It holds true today, I'll tell you that much. But no, man, good game by Will Levis, man. I had no expectations for him as a rookie, and I think that made it that much more of just a wow moment when he came to perform the way that he did. He definitely didn't look like a rookie quarterback out there in the pocket. I mean, he looked comfortable, guys. I don't know if you guys can agree with that, but he looked super
we spent almost 2 hours talking about how comfortable that guy looked today.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like the 12-year vet,
Yeah,
sure did.
But let's go on the road and get a win, man. I want to see how the guy performs on the road. I don't want to, overhype him and then like him have a mistake or something, and everybody be like, oh, there's the flaws. We can't do that to the guy. He played well today, man, and I'm excited to see what he does against Pittsburgh Thursday night on the road, man.
I think everybody is.
He made a good point. Like I think I went into the game with no expectation either. Just let's see what the kid can do, right? And then he had one of these games, so now he has set a bar.
Yeah.
Is that the expectation now?
Blessing and a curse.
Yep, that's a blessing and a curse because now he has set an expectation, and so what happens Thursday can tell a lot about what fans really feel about him. One, what he's going to be going forward to. So say he has a similar game. He throws for 2 touchdowns, has 1 pick, throws for 300 yards, and they lose. But he plays well. I still think we're having similar conversation. Like, okay, well, we lost, but
we got something.
We got something. But if he comes out and they lose and throws 4 picks and, he's 13 for 38 and we're like, oh, crap, here we go. He's not ready yet. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But And say he did that, and he's 13 for 28, 2 picks, no touchdowns, and they win.
Yeah,
it's still like, okay, we'll see what we got. So we got to be cautious on how we put this man up on this pedestal off of this one game because we see the potential in him, and as you talk about, that ceiling's up there, the expectation's up there, but it's still one game, and he's still got a lot of football to grow.
Right.
And now
this game will humble you, man.
It will, and I'll go to Stroud. People kept waiting for him to fall off that perch. He's had one bad game since, but he's been consistent as a rookie from day 1 to game 6, 7, whatever they're on. I don't know if they've had a bye week, but anyway.
7. They've played 7. Yeah.
Even with that, people have been waiting for him to fall off that perch, but he just continues to get better and thrive. That's what I hope for Will Levis. Is he going to have moments when you scratch your temple like, ooh, I don't know if you should make that throw? Probably. You just hope there's fewer of those. I just want to see maturation and growth getting better week to week to week.
Right.
And I want to hear the dialogue from him saying, you know what, I missed that throw. That's on me. Or, the guys around me protected. I want to hear his locker room talk too, because there's going to be moments where right now it's like, man, you're the greatest quarterback we've had since Tannehill took over from Mariota, or if not since Steve McNair. They're going to sing all his praises. And then that first moment where he's getting down, and all of a sudden they're saying, man, what happened? You look like a rookie quarterback. You threw 4 picks today. Oh, my God.
They build you up to tear you down.
How does he handle that?
Right. And so that's it's interesting that you brought all that up because during the week I was like, one of my questions for the listeners for 3HL was, how much patience do you have with him? Because I expected today to see rookie moments. I didn't expect to see this
Exactly.
freaking confident general changing plays at the line of scrimmage and getting them set up right and all that stuff. Taking the play clock down to 1 and not having any delay of game calls.
Not one. No panic.
No panic.
I mean, you said he had that one ill-advised throw, but really, I'm like, I don't even remember him like putting them in a situation that was dangerous. Like, he wasn't turning the ball over. He wasn't indecisive. It wasn't like skittish at the line.
Took 2 sacks. 1 was on purpose. I mean,
and the other one, he just wasn't there. He tried to get out, and he just happened to get tackled 1 yard back. So it ends up being a sack, but it wasn't like he made a bad mistake. Yeah.
Let's go to Lane in Nashville next up. Lane, what's up? Yo, Lane.
Check that.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, what do you got?
That's that.
So it really proves that Byard wasn't really as much of a lock on defense. I feel like we were able to still get out of it. And then we also were able to do a lot more. But I was wondering if it was a Will Levis that he was just able to get it out of it, or if it's a Tannehill problem.
Thank you, Lane. Good stuff, man. In terms of Byard, I think that's one of the keys to today's game was their ability to – and McCrary was out too. So they were having to shuffle multiple guys in the secondary, and they held up well, right? Like, and I think that's a testament to Amani Hooker and his ability to communicate back there in defense because he had to today.
Yeah.
He had to.
You keep everybody on the same page. And again, the comparisons to Levis and Tannehill, again, the one thing I will say that was evident, aside from the protections and it seemed like the line had a better game, was he didn't seem panicked, whereas there has been times when Tannehill seemed like he was panicked, like he didn't want to take a hit, like he was worried about taking hits as opposed to standing and delivery. And then the young guy, maybe it's ignorance, maybe because he hasn't been there yet, he hasn't taken that shot, and he hasn't had people nipping at his toes yet. And around his knees.
Gross.
Yeah. But maybe it's that. Hopefully it's just that ignorance of it. But that was kind of the difference in the two right now. And that, again, this is that one sample size. Offensive line played very well. They ran the ball effectively. Guys made plays in the passing game. Aside from the drop from Chig, really everybody else had a pretty solid day. And he catches that ball. We're talking about a guy who throws over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in his debut. And that doesn't happen often. So, but again, we keep trying to temper the expectations a little bit for the young guy. But it's hard to because he has such a great day.
615-737-1045. He did get hit pretty good one time, went into the tent, and then as they were about to go into punt return, he came running out, found his helmet, slammed it on his head, and went to the hospital.
You ready to go?
Michael in Nashville. Michael, what up?
Good evening, guys, man. It felt good today. I'm not one of those that's just going to hop on a train and be like, yes, this is our guy. I'm more of a repetition kind of guy. I'm like, okay, so we're going to Pittsburgh. Who's going to start? Is it going to be Tannehill or is it going to be Will Levis? For me, I can give you 21 million reasons why it'll be Tannehill. And I always say this, it's his job to lose. So if he comes out, drops 2 games, I'm all for it. Put the kid in, and let's see what happens. But I'm not going to say, this is our guy because we've been down this road before where guys come out, and somebody brought up a good question about Mariota. He did the same thing. We can go back to, I think it was Jake Lochner who came in hot. So I think I'm bringing them up. I got to remind people. But I think once we surround the kid with talent, today was just overall everything just clicked like it was supposed to. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the New England when they were undefeated in the Super Bowl and they ran up against the Giants, it's kind of how that was today. They just ran up against the wall. Everything clicked for us. And now we're going into Pittsburgh. And again, I'm going to ask you guys, in that game, are you going to start Ryan Tannehill, and is it his job to lose?
I don't think he'll be able to start, honestly. I mean, high ankle sprain, just 2 weeks out, and in a short week, and having to take that plane ride with swelling and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he does. I don't know. I mean, he's motivated to get back as quickly as he possibly can now, I'll tell you that.
But
yeah, I mean, hey, if I'm making $21 million and I'm hurt, I ain't going to be rushing back. Go and put him on out there then. Hey, y'all still got to pay me. Either way it goes, y'all got to cut me a check, so I'm not going to run out there.
I'm telling you, Michael.
At the end of the day, when you got a good GM who's now hitting on draft picks, I had to explain to somebody today, hey, we're 5 years in a hole with draft picks. We only got 6 guys from John Robinson's regime when he was here. So this team is in a hole. Right now, it is Jacksonville is the king of the AFC South right now. But I think, again, you surround this kid, and if you're hitting on draft picks like we're supposed to, then I think that the Titans will be back maybe 2 to 3 years. I'll give us that. But, like I said, great game. We won, and that's all that matters. Let's go into Pittsburgh, and let's take this train on up there, and let's see what happens.
Love it, Michael. Thank you, man.
Absolutely, man.
I mean, the way the league is structured now, you can turn it around theoretically quickly now.
Yeah.
I mean, Detroit was 6-1. They were 1-6 last year.
Yeah. And look at them now.
1 year.
It's not even close. They're going to win that division hands down.
They're like a 9.5-point favorite tonight.
Are they?
Yeah.
Got to believe them.
They're good.
Yeah.
It's funny, the range of emotion. Because for me, the fan part of me was just excited to see what I saw today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I'm not ready to put the guy in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying, that was unexpected.
Yeah.
And I keep talking about, beyond the stats and all those things, just his demeanor was just different, man.
Yeah. His swagger. Yes.
He was in control.
Mm-hmm.
And the players felt that.
Yeah. And that's what I think, to your point, it wasn't like a shaky moment. Like you would expect a rookie to deer in headlights at some point. He didn't show that. And
I mean, veteran guys have shaky moments.
Come on. And if you go off of the sample that we had from the preseason and what he did or did not do in that game against Chicago and things of that nature, what led you to believe that he was going to come out here today and perform as well as he did? I expected if he was going to be the starter, which he ended up being, some up and down moments. It was up and stayed there. It stayed level. He just continued to make plays, continued to make right decisions, putting his team in a position to win a football game. And first game of 28 points or better in how many games? You said 28 games?
Mm-hmm.
That's significant. And he
doubled
chunk
shots all over the field. It was exciting.
He doubled the touchdown, passing touchdown in one day. Doubled the output in one day.
Titans have played 7 games. Will Levis has played 1. He leads the Titans with 4 touchdown passes. Tannehill has 2.
2.
And 6 interceptions.
Now, with that being said, to a call we had back around 4 o'clock where he said, who would you start? Would you but
He does it again against Pittsburgh. I think then you're in a position where, man, I'm just going to have to ride and die with this guy and go with the ups and downs as he hopefully shows upward mobility and progresses.
And then you have a quality veteran backup.
And then you've got your guy next year.
Mm-hmm.
With a ton of cap space.
I don't think a lot of people would be mad with that. Excuse me. I don't think a lot of people would be mad with that.
I think Will Levis proved, at his ceiling, he gives you a chance to win the game.
Because Tannehill, as the number 2, still gives you a viable option. He's still a number 1. I mean, you know what I mean? So I don't think a lot of people would be upset with that. It's just, I think from a franchise standpoint, 1, you don't lose your job from an injury. 2, do they think he is a quote-unquote playoff caliber quarterback now because they think they could still make a run?
Right. I mean, these are all things that are going to be talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Michigan in the borough. Michigan, what's up?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
Man, I didn't wait for Space Mountain that long. Holy moly! I had to I had to check off some notes.
People are excited,
but hold on, let me get to a couple that I came up with while
absolutely.
While I went from Murfreesboro to Smyrna and back to Murfreesboro again. That's a true story. I want to shout out a couple people. Tajay Spears, I really like that little, quick out where he would have gotten tackled for 7-yard loss. I think he got 2 or 3.
Yeah,
that was a big deal. He had a really nice gainer that I want to say was a couple plays before Levis maybe threw the pass to NWI. I just really like this kid. I hope they don't move on from Henry, but if they do, I think the future's in great hands. I also want to shout out the defense. We talked a lot about Big Jeff today.
Yep.
I want to shout out a couple guys who've been kind of maligned. I thought Christian Fulton was really good today.
He was. You're right.
He wasn't exactly out there defending, against the 2000 Rams. That wasn't Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt. That definitely wasn't Kurt Warner back there. But he held his own when he was called upon to do so. And Azeez Al-Shaair, who I know was a guy that we all had a lot of expectations for coming in, he shot the B gap a couple times today against Tyler Algier.
Ooh, I remember that.
In short yardage situations.
Dice, you played football. I mean, there's a lot of guys getting a paycheck in the National Football League who would have made a business decision when that came about. And he didn't do that. He stood in there, took it. He knocked Robinson back a couple times. I thought he played really well. I'm going to kind of save my Levis thoughts for when I call him during the week, but you guys said it best. This is a week-to-week league, and we'll see what he's got. I mean, if Mike Tomlin comes out and gives him single high, especially with Minka Fitzpatrick injured, I mean, I'll eat my laptop with a whole thing of Hellman's mayonnaise. I don't think that's going to happen. No way, no how.
Yeah.
So I'll run and let you guys go. Thanks so much.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good call.
Michigan.
That's a good call. I mean, you're right. What is Tomlin and them going to do? Are they going to try to attack the young guy and disguise? I didn't feel like Atlanta disguised enough to ruffle the rookies.
I don't think it was in the game plan.
I don't think
they thought they had to.
I think they thought they were just better than what was over there. And in a lot of respects, the way the offensive line had been playing, who would lead you to believe anything different? So they probably thought Calais Campbell, who we talked about, that they can go ahead and win those one-on-one battles.
Yep.
And this kid came out and had a heck of a game, man.
He did. We talked about the matchup with the Steelers earlier, but I need to let you guys know this. When we look ahead to next week's opponent in the look ahead presented by Eurofix, let me remind you that Eurofix repairs everything European that you drive and below dealer pricing. ASE certified technicians, a local company that has serviced Middle Tennessee for more than 2 decades. Visit EurofixOnline.com. Next week, the Titans head to Pittsburgh, take on the Steelers. That is our look ahead presented by Eurofix. Titans radio coverage produced by Philip Noel and Brad Willis. Studio producer Joe Hunkapiller. Scoreboard producer Lucas Panzica. Promotions director Rich Ferris. Director of sales Hunter Rice. General manager Allison Warren. Operations managers Charlie Cook and Paul Mason. Executive producer Rhett Bryan. Westwood One coverage of Chargers and Bears coming up. Dice, awesome win today. We'll do it again Thursday night.
Yes, sir. As we watch A.J. Brown make plays.
There you go. 104.5 all day long tomorrow.